the lows, at the lows, at the lows, at the lows. What is up, the lows? What is up? What is up? What is up, chat? What is up, chat? एक सेकंड रुक जाओ, chat. Hi, what is up? What is up? What is up, chat? What is up, chat? PRX बोलते टोरेंटो चैट. स्ट्रीमर बोलते भाई कसम से भाई अभी 5 मिनट पहले मेरा शूट खत्म हो गया और तेरा भाई लाइव आ गया. समझ रहे हो? डेडिकेशन है. डेडिकेशन है. ओह, मैं 2 बार पिंकी को बोला क्या आज मैं कैंसिल करूं. हाँ, बोला नहीं, तेरे में दम है, तू कर सकता है. मैं बोला हाँ भाई, मैं कर तो सकता हूँ वैसे. समझ रहे हो? मैचेस तो प्लेऑफ है, अच्छे ही होने वाले. लेकिन अंडी मंडी अगर टेक पॉस आया तो अंडी मंडी, मैं पहले से अंडी मंडी दे रहा हूँ. किरण पाजी कैसी 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 कैसी. क्या ये सच है? संडे को भाई, संडे वाला चीज तो संडे को पता चलेगा मेरी जान की टोटो. संडे वाला चीज संडे को पता चलेगा. हेलो, चाय हो जाए. चाय एक ही कप है आज. और बताओ कैसा रहा तुम्हारा दिन. भाई अच्छा हुआ भाई, पीआरएक्स क्वालिफाई हो गया भाई. टोरंटो देखने में मजा तो आएगा. क्या बोलते हो? हाँ, मेरे को बुरा लग रहा है यार नावी के लिए. इतना करके हारने वाले आज. कैसे जीतेगा? है दलोस, वो अपलोड पीसी से हो रहा है. यस 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 यस. इंटरनेट स्पीड सेम है, टेंशन मतलब मैं स्पीड टेस्ट कर दिया ऑलरेडी. यस सर. किसी चीज का जवाब सीधे सीधे दिया है आज तक? तूने आज तक मेंबरशिप लिया है? सीधा जवाब चाहिए तेरे को. हाँ, गिन के 2 मेंबर दिख रहे मेरे को, चिल गए और किशन भाई. बस एक टाइम था. ये लो बिंग्स भाई 1500 गिफ्टेड. ये लो बंग्स भाई 4000 गिफ्टेड. इधर गए भाई. मैं भी मेंबर हूँ बीएसडी के. मैं नहीं दिख रहा. आज जो तूने बात कही है ना, मेरे के दिल पे छू ली है. दिल पे छू ली है. आज तेरा तारीफ किया मैंने एक जगह पे. वो तारीफ नहीं करना चाहिए था, मेरे को लग रहा है. हाँ, इस गांडू को मैंने तारीफ किया चैट. आज मैं एक जगह पे गया था, ठीक है. हैवी तारीफ किया कि एक ऐसा है मेरा पर्सनल एडिटर, पट से काम करता है. मैं इसको बोला हे पॉजी, मेरे को आज अर्जेंट काम चाहिए. जो काम कर रहा है ना तो उसका ही. मैं बोला इसको चैट कि एक फटफट ये एडिट करके देने का है. मेरे को क्या बोला पता है चैट इसने? आज इतना बड़ा हो गया यार भेंचोद. 5 साल पहले गांडू कैसा था? मेरे को क्या बोला पता है इसने चैट? प्लीज थोड़ा फाइल जल्दी देना, मेरे को रात को स्ट्रीम करने का है. हो गया भाई मेरा. हाँ, हो गया भाई. कोई है भाई? फ्री एडिटर्स है भाई कोई? मेरा जॉब कहाने के पीछे भाई. हेलो, ऐसा नहीं कुछ अर्जेंट वर्क है तो कल करेगा स्ट्रीम ना. मेरे को फाइल जल्दी दे, मेरे को स्ट्रीम करने के बाद में नहीं. गांड में हाथी का लंड इसके. गाली तो चैट उसको. भाई इतना जल्दी 2 पिक ले लिए मिड में कैसे टर्रेट होने के बावजूद साउंड मैं दे रहा था ना साउंड ये एक्सेंट मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा तुमको क्या समझेगा रे
Martin happy to overheat a little bit there.
समझ में आ रहा है क्या
a milestone amount of kills.
4000 में कितने जीरो आते हैं
I
वो
really
पता
like
लगा
this early start from KC with Sadak. Now has the 0.9 available again, collecting some of that early info. It's not going to spot Ruxic just yet, but as the snakebite flies over back of yellow, the turret takes contact. Sadak might just swing this solo.
सब लोग जॉब चेंज कर रहे लग रहा है.
Same time though, you've still got many more tools to work with here. Avez having those salvos and every single player ready to swing on now. KC will get the first round of this series. Such a strong
prediction
start
right
for
जा रहा है
KC
आज.
to pick up on.
They finished out on the attack side last time when they were playing Liquid on this map.
कैसे सड़क भाई फुल सपोर्ट है आज आपको उठना नहीं बस.
As you say, this is a balancing act in every sense for both of these teams.
बस
Stability has
F1
been
देखो
hard to come upon.
देखा मैंने कीबोर्ड में.
In terms of this opener, yeah, Martin's just
F2B
TP'd
उसके
into
बाजू
the edge
में.
of his own
देखेगा.
smoke. It looked like it was blocking the window. He actually gets in front. That was really nice micro.
I think the thing is though is Navi should be aware of
मैं
the
2 घंटा सो
possibilities,
के
right?
इतना काम कर रहा हूँ.
They're the ones
F1
who have
देखो.
done something similar in the past with their aggressive Omen.
Getting ads? Oh
It's
sorry.
aggressive towards B. This is 5
Off कर
of
रहा है एक
Navi's
second.
players here.
That knife was just on the
भाई
edge.
गलत
KC
accent
had
है बे.
no idea. Navi are closing in. There's a pack of players.
क्या बात है क्या बात है क्या बात है क्या बात है.
Oh, Koala coming round from the other side, and Navi come out the other end of it with upgrades.
And the spike
सड़क
at
भाई
their
मेरे को
feet,
बस
so
इतने
KC
सपोर्ट
have to
करना पड़ेगा.
clamber
समझ
back
रहे हो और
through the
सपोर्ट नहीं कर
garage.
सकता मैं.
Elite on a ghost to get to the Guardian. Both regen shields.
भाई इससे
Look at
कैसे
that,
मैंने
Vandal
दो
and
मारे.
Toxic Hero. There is support here for Navi. And Crossfire set up with the alarm bot for contact.
मेरे को भी फ्री मेंबरशिप दे दो. सुधा जॉर्ड गेम्स में एक्सक्यूज में हो सकता है कि मैं मेंबर्स ओनली कर लूं. समझ रहे
2
हो.
nanos
अभी
sure
से
for
ले लो.
delay, but nobody will want to mess around with that on Navi.
मिस राउंड.
This will just be straight up
भाई मेरा
gunfight.
गला का है बे बोलते ही. मिस
Don't
राउंड.
completely know about that one from Koala Noob because it doesn't maybe allow Sugetsu to get in this gap of his own smoke, and there you go, hero isolated, paranoia no value. This could become problematic. Oh, it's getting out of hand. Sugetsu's found 3, and with 1 bullet left to
ये
his
नहीं
name,
होना चाहिए था.
funneling bullets back into the magazine, getting out of dodge with HP and time.
He's also got that regen shield, so he'll have something to work with. Both players
पहुंच
on
गया वो
similar
लेकिन.
amounts of HP. And also
क्लच
has
कर
that
दिया
volley.
अबे रुसिक्स ने.
Time's going to get really close here when he tries to
James.
attempt to plan.
He's going to plant topside as well. No, he's not. It's just for the extra speed to get to getting right in there. Spike goes down. Ruxic, the reprisal from Rafters.
Viper versus Viper.
देखा 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 spotted
confident on this re-entry to site. Toxins go
spotted
up
it.
and he starts to work on the defuse behind it. Zui closing in. Does he have time? It's just a stick. No! Sugetsu denies it against his former club. 4 kills. But you can't help but feel that Navi misplayed a huge opportunity in that round.
And I think that's the
Ah,
key
full
point
support.
coming out of it, right?
गाली
They
खाओगे बाद
misplayed
में
a
members
chance,
only
but
ने
they were in
excuse.
an advantage. And I want to bring this back to
ले लो यार,
yesterday, right?
रोटी नहीं
How
खाया
many
मैं 2 दिन
times
से.
did we see Navi get themselves into a position and then allow BBL to just clutch it up, sociable?
You said one clutch.
No, no.
I'm sure that's not the
Nice!
last we
From
were going to
no
hear
to
from
nice.
Saish there on the
वो दूसरे
reaction.
कोच का एक बार
Exactly,
नावी
right
वाले कोच
into
को
the
दिखाओ
next
ना
round.
प्लीज.
Martin
4v2
back
जो
in
हुआ
mid.
है.
Double TP. He's fully sent this. In between the lines. Look at KC. So quick to take the B site.
Yeah, but they've identified where Martin is, and it's quick to collapse upon. But Elite out of nowhere gets to
ये कहाँ से आया बे?
just cut off the cross.
Yeah, one back at the very least. It's a 3-on-3, and Navi do have the slightly better weapons. That's discounting Sadak, but his position in kitchen could be killer, and the shots will
भाई
land that
नेड
shout
भी है इसके
down.
पास, सिर्फ जिंदा रहना उसको.
Advantage KC from this position, and looking at the defenders, they're split up and still worried about the captain.
Sadak's doing so much here for KC, and
Yeah,
now that
Rabbi.
those mollies, the utility, get so much more value here.
Sugetsu just sidestepping his own smoke. Navi playing with borrowed time. So get to looking to close the net, and that's what he'll do. Transfer to make it a
लग गए
third.
भाई, लग गए, नावी के लग
Moving
गए।
on
मेरे
from
वॉचपार्टी
troubled
के लिए मैं
waters
बाहर था रे,
in their
मेरा शूट था आज।
anti-eco. But with the bonus round, it
इस
just
गालिक
gets
नान
better.
खाया है, रोटी की क्या
Now
नींद है?
destroying
Excuse
KC's
me.
economy. This is really nice from Elite, by the way, to trade out through the orange position, and then Sadak buying so much more time.
मस्त ट्रांसफर है
It's
ना?
always been something he's been accredited to heavily as a caller, the ability
क्या
to
लिख रहा है?
just change
X0
up the
के लिए।
pacing on a
Yeah.
dime. It's that mid hit there that you see. Again, Martin showing us the flexibility of his agent pool.
भाई दोनों राउंड केसी ने बता दिया है कि नावी का मिड वीक है हाँ?
The de facto one on the other side, Koala
Time
Noob,
out
of
आएगा
course,
लग रहा है।
playing the same role, double smokes, both sides.
I think the thing
पहला
is,
टीम है
KC
जिसको
at the
इतना
same
मिड
time are
हेवी
starting
खेलते हुए
to-
देखा है।
So KC Navi are starting to test the waters here. You look at the Viper here; it's moved all the way up B long Ruxic, and they were also just looking towards mid momentarily. But
Also,
KC
भाई मैं बोल नहीं पा रहा
slow
भाई,
rolling
हेलो?
up towards A, waiting for those toxins to
गलत
drop.
एक्सेंट है ये लोग का।
Bit of utility for sustain. Koala does have the smoke,
my
but Shao forced to peek into a
बाप
family photo on the
रे,
KC
आवाज आ रहा है
side.
ब्रो?
A quick click of the shutter, pull of the trigger, and they're down. While Ruxic has been highlighted on the flank, struggle to see him getting too much value from this.
गया Ruxic।
Elite should have it under wraps, and there you have it. Ruxic eliminated. Full
Fuck,
focus
ऐसा
can be
एम
put
के
on the
खेलने
site
का मन
itself.
करता है।
Yeah, KC have done so well here.
भाई है
Slow
बे।
rolled their way through
गलत।
it, waiting for Navi to peek them, and just dealt
गलत
with the
भाई,
opportunity
5v2
that
में
came their
कैसे
way.
खेला बे
It's
एकदम?
threat mitigation, I think,
Yes.
which we're talking about here, and also the mid-rounding, something which is going to come up a lot
Normal
during this
accent ही
series.
तो है ये।
The way that KC like to play is they take early space, they freeze,
तेरे
and
चाचा
then
बात
Navi,
करते थे
they're
ऐसे?
just waiting for the reclear.
Normal
You get it
accent
through
है
the
ये।
flank this time, but something that we'll have to continually keep tabs on. Because when you actually look at it and you take a step back at both of
Sunday
these
Jordan
in-game
confirm है
leaders,
क्या? वो
Sadak
तो
has
Sunday
never
का पता
lost
चलेगा ना यार।
to Angel in his history. And the even funnier part about
What's
that
up,
is
Binks bhai?
he
What's
never
up?
played FPX. Always found a way to dodge each other in those brackets.
Valorant has brought out the op. That's towards A. KC now mostly towards B. But you've also got to be looking
Sound?
at Martin going towards Snowman.
Bro,
That flash was
चार
perfect.
बार blind
Ruxic
पे क्या है?
trying
चार
to
बार।
escape here and manages to keep us alive. Navi
अच्छा
coming
खेला
straight back
Navi।
into this
इतना भी
one.
अच्छा
But
नहीं
it's the
खेला
players
Navi।
from mid that opens up the site for KC.
Oh, Naves with one more. The extra details, the pit dropped in. Shao still ahead of this and can interrupt. That's exactly what he does, and as the pit drops, he gets back
अच्छा
to
खेला
cover.
नावी बे।
Koala now in position in towards Snowman. That long line of sight, that's exactly where you want the operator, but it misses the first shot. KC have bought themselves a bit of space, but they've found Koala Noob at the same time. And now
W.
Elite has to try and find a safe space for this spike.
Another one of the differences in the comp is that plant security. KC usually have that
Oh,
affiliation
दिमाग
with
के साथ
Harbour,
खेल लिया,
but
दिमाग
no
के साथ
Sage,
खेल
no
लिया,
Gecko,
chat।
nothing of the sort. You're forced to try and take that extra space. I like the idea for them to go for the switch up again in this
30
fast
seconds.
speed
Sunday
play.
Jordan आसिफ
As it
भाई।
now falls down to just Elite. A steady
संडे
pair
को
of
पता
hands
चलेगा ना
who
यार।
steered that BBL ship for most of last year, now on KC.
मेंबरशिप पे फिर
Moments
भी
like this where you
मैसेज
wanna
नहीं आ रहा है अब
see
तो
something
मतलब
big
आ रहा है
from the
हेटर।
youngster.
Has safe space here to plant the spike as well. Alarm bot and nanos to work with. Has to find an isolated duel onto at least one of the Navi players. Fast.
It's just the fact that he looks to toy with. Shao does still have the wingman, and Koala does have a smoke. So Elite needs to be heads up with this.
Yeah, it's just straight up gunfights. Hasn't used any of the utility. Boss fight found.
अरे!
Will be able to get
एक मार के
Navi's
साइड हट
first
सकता था
round.
बे ऊपर वाला
Oh,
ब्लाइंड
nice
था।
box.
उसने स्मोक गलत डाला
Great
था।
way to break the ice. Navi needed that.
लेकिन हेवी
I don't
डैमेज
know where that
हुआ।
one's off to. but
हाँ? किसको सपोर्ट करे
good to know that we're
केसी?
still
Sadak
on
by on
Xbox and
top.
not thinking about split just yet. That the KC momentum can be stopped. In terms of what Navi did well, just winning a couple of these key duels, and this is brilliant play from Shao. One of the reasons why he was retained in this roster by Angel
Well done.
is just due to his consistency at the top level, consistently being able to play.
भाई मेरा
regardless of
आइडल
the
है
role.
बे।
Just to give you a little statistic,
तो इधर ignore
as a
मुश्किल
one
लग
for
रहा है।
folks at
इधर।
home, Martin is
गरम
one
करके
kill
ठंडा छोड़ दे
of
तो वो भी
1,000,
तीन
which
बोल
is
के
absolutely
3 दिन
insane to
मैसेज
think
में
about.
देखती थी।
we were speaking about a little bit earlier, but we'll have to see how much impact that's going to have
लेकिन
in
वो
the
तो
game at
संडे
hand.
को पता चलेगा ना यार.
In terms of this round, full by both teams. Ruxic already reinforcing
Huh?
A, and Op on Koala Noob on the other extremity.
10,000 में मैं कंफर्म
need
कर
to be
सकता हूँ yes
diligent
or
in
no.
how they look to manage this situation, and already with the turret broken in mid, so
समझ रहा?
Navi's protocols start to get tested.
Lord
And you can
Gang की
see
एक
here
वैल्यू है.
just repositioning himself.
Binks
towards
का
kitchen,
आती,
actually.
thank you father,
Oh,
मैं
a
मुझे
little
मेरी
loose
जान
on
की
the trigger finger
रोटी.
there.
I mean, if Navi really want to clear out this Viper's pit,
Why no
you
duelist?
have
It is very
lockdown
normal to
on
play no
elite.
duelist in Icebox.
Killjoy Ultimate would do well to clear out that A side, and that's where the spike is.
He's still a bit timid here. Utility invested, suppression on Ruxic. He will be unperturbed by the situation, but walks into Danger, and Danger fires
Hey,
back. Sadak with one. Hero here out in the open.
Hey,
Down the
KC.
long hallway of Kitchen. It's a long road back to the A site for Navi.
KC find themselves a little pocket of domain to work within, but remember,
भाई,
it was only Martin that was
इसके बारे में नहीं मालूम.
activates at the right
आवाज आ रहा
time.
है bro?
This is getting a little bit chaotic now, and with Aves being able to pick
Oh
that one
my
up, control
God,
is
क्या खेला
restored.
KC?
Order maintained as far as
और
KC are
वुमेन का
concerned.
बेट क्या है
Still
बे
Aves
वहाँ
coming
पे
in
मर
late.
के.
Has the salvos if need be. The wingman can try and make things a little more difficult for the attack to try and digest. It does get the spike to
Shot,
half, but
आवाज आ रहा है
that's
bro?
where Aves brings us back to
Because
reality.
Binks बचपन से.
Angel dealt with. Last player sat in spawn, it's Shao, and Aves has him caught.
my
KC back to winning ways.
God.
That's number 5.
Clinical is the words that I would use, and I think right now Sadak is completely outcalling Angel. The defense are not dealing with these mid lurks, and that's time and time
भाई लोग का
again.
mid का कुछ
3 or
करना
4
पड़ेगा.
times that Navi have found themselves a player or two down.
So we're immediately going to see a timeout come through from the
बोला ना.
Frenchman against
भाई लोग का mid अभी देखना
his,
3 बंदे गिलेंगे.
Countryman's
Okay,
organisation, I
like-
suppose, I don't know.
Yeah.
But both of these teams, of course, looking later down the line into the year, we know each of them
एने वाले
rebuilding.
Icebox पर और
Import
लेने
of Sadak,
देते
of course,
जबकि
now
ये
up
में
against
पैसे
a
में
regional veteran in the
ध्यान
form
नहीं देते क्या
of
मेंटालिटी
Angel. It
होगा
must
वो
be
लोग
said, the
यूटिल
goal
बचा के
is
रखते हैं ना.
champs, and that's what you're thinking about at the end of
ए
the
पे
line. But in
स्पिट
terms of the
ऑफ दैट
game
वा
right
यूटिल
now,
नहीं डाला मतलब
the
वो
big
लोग साइड
takeaway from
एग्जीक्यूट
that
के लिए
is that
बचा के
Navi had
रखते
a
हैं.
good setup,
Angle
but
खाली कर दो.
KC just so slow and methodical, and having conditioned that mid pressure you were talking about, it feels like
अब
they've
क्या
got their
Angel
finger
One
on
के
the
इससे
pulse.
में
They can always
language
just change up how it is exactly they're
That
approaching
like
each and
करो.
every lane. It's making life very difficult for Navi.
And I think as well, like the other thing about KC, and I love that you speak about the conditioning aspect of it, because the one
बराबर
round
बोला.
where
क्या बोला?
Navi looked
कोई
to actually
translate करो.
approach mid and fight it, right? KC just sent it A, and they were
Yeah.
slow to respond to that.
Yeah.
So Navi right now, on their pistol round, I would really like them to try and push the limits here,
Yeah.
right?
Push.
There you have it. A millennia for
आज इतना low
Martin.
viewership क्यों?
1,000 kills
मुझे
in
क्या मालूम?
VCT
मैच
EMEA.
कैजुअल है करके इसलिए
Player
शायद.
only just joining since partnerships began, but great to see yet another face from Challengers. Suddenly become one of the most feared players coming into
One-sided
this
है बे ये
playoff
वाला
stage,
match.
it must be said.
ना?
He has had a good start to this map.
Well, Anupa though, it's come up time again, and this time he's trying to
वो बोला कि बिंक्स रीडेड नहीं है
much
तो
to
उन्होंने
work with,
गेम
and
प्ले इंप्रूव
there is
करने से
KC players here, and
एक्सक्यूज
they've heard Koala actually jump back. Again, KC, like they've managed to avoid this mid play that Navi have set up as well.
भाई इसके बाद
And,
अल्टी
and I
है.
think that's exactly what
Commit
you're
करेगा
doing
क्या
in
ये
this
वाला
round if
round
you're
में?
KC, because you know of the threats that lie on this Navi side, as we said many a time.
टेक्निकली देखा जाएगा तो अल्ट के साथ वो लोग
potentially being able to post, but
कुछ
one
chaos
of a
create कर
lockdown,
सकते हैं.
a Thrash, Hero, Shao, and Angel, of course, having the Armageddon available. There are
मेरे
5
हिसाब से
Navi
करना
players
चाहिए,
on the
करना
other side of spawn, and they're happy to commit it here.
Yeah, they've sent it back in, and they've able to get one, but at the
वहाँ
same
पे
time,
जगह था?
Ziggetsu is completely cleared up. I don't think a shorty will work at that range. But KC's rifles
अरे
certainly
वहाँ पे
do.
जगह था
And I
भाई
think they're
क्यों
moving
बच
through this
गया?
with ease at
What?
this point, has it. The only thing is, time is getting low, and that spike needs to go down.
It's the only remaining pressure in the round, as you say.
Hello,
15
Bang, it's
seconds
somebody
less
else.
time. Once that spike goes in, Angel It's a hit and hope.
अबे जा रहा है
I
bro.
have to say, coming out of the
Any
timeout,
tips
we
for
weren't
high
fully
growth?
expecting those ults to be invested, but this is
Attempt
something
to
that we
करो.
saw yesterday as well against BBL when they called the pause. You had it was like a stun contact for an orbital strike.
यार
The fact
बंस में
they're so
सुबह
willing
चैट
to
करने
invest
का मन कर
such
रहा है
heavy
बोलो
pieces
डांस
into
का
these
कितना
rounds where
लोगे
it's like just a couple of
दिनार्स
sheriffs,
में बात
it
करें
does
तो
leave you scratching
1500
your head a
दिनार
little bit at what they think those win
Bro, I
conditions
don't know.
are.
I'm blind. I'm flashed. I'm bolted, man.
बराबर मतलब
Yeah,
बेसिकली
no, I
बहुत
have to
यूटिलाइज
agree. I just feel as if Navi are a bit too eager at the same time, right?
Missiles away.
Don't know, man. Like, I feel as if like it's ultimates that could be easily used in this round, and while they have a
क्यों
couple
टीम
here
तेओ नहीं
to
लेता है भाई
retake back
क्या
into
बीटी है बे
the A side is the weaker
हाँ
of
एजेंट
the
क्या
two.
बीटी एजेंट है
There
भाई
is
तेओ
only Rooksick here.
I'm also just looking at Sadak's null command because
ये
one of
लोग
the
ने
unique
लिया है लेकिन काफी टीम्स
interactions
अभी
with there being
नहीं यूज
KO
कर रहा है
in
इस
play
बॉक्स में
is
तेओ
that KC do have a natural counter to this double layering of smokes, and sure, the first line of that defense will go down, the toxic screen removed. The question is, with the knife coming back up and all of this extra util in post, is how did KC want to try and play it? It looks like Martin wants to go on the offensive. 1,000 and counting as he adds yet another. Still those big ults for Navi to work with though.
KC need to be careful with those coming back in. Lockdown most importantly, and you can see players ready to try and counteract this and fight in towards screens.
It's brilliant. Armageddon goes in, you've got a fragment there as well, and boom, lockdown evaporated. KC using the tools
लेकिन
they
वो
had
डालना
available.
जरूरी है क्या
And
नेड
Navi are
नहीं
going to
ना
call it quits. Martin even in a position here to potentially take a gun away. Does think better of it though. Gives Angel the time.
भाई क्या हो गया भाई नावी को हेलो
It just feels like KC are one step ahead
It's one
in
down
how they're
में से
planning out these rounds.
100%. I even thought that they were going to set up Martin to go and fight screens, but instead, I don't even need to risk a player, right? I just. They just seem one or two, in fact, maybe even 3 steps ahead of what Navi want to
इन्होंने
do.
कंफर्म कर दिया
When
गुड
we
फॉर
talk about
रीजन
finding feet
तो
in
अगर
playoffs,
कुछ
it
लेफ्ट
doesn't
राइट
matter how
होगा
many
उस पे गाली
steps.
देना
KC
गोट
are
को
in
ठीक
front,
है
and it's by
मेरे
6
को मत
rounds
बोलना
now. Even just the fact that Aves was so close to getting that Armageddon, and then that's actually what they used to counter the
Who is the
lockdown.
only
Lots
initiator
of
that
thought being
can
put
work
into
as a
this.
duelist
Another gun round coming up.
technically yes
Navi at the very least have
Technically,
been
yes.
able to hang on to a lot of those weapons, including the operator. Koala is on the other side of the map. B getting a look in from KC.
PRX नहीं करता काफी सारी टीम्स तेओ यूज नहीं करता है इस बॉक्स में
Lucky
ये
to have
दोनों
escaped
कर रहे
his
हैं
life there, but we're back
लेकिन
towards
काफी
looking
सारी
at mid,
टीम्स
right?
तेओ यूज
And
नहीं
Navi have dedicated hero at least to watch on
करता
this
यूजुअली वो
spot.
रहता है प्योर सुबह
I'd say as well, looking at the comps for both, it also gets to in mid. Huge Jewel wins it, and with that, it feels
भाई
like
लोग का मिड का
this Navi
सीन है भाई
defensive setup has almost
कैसे भाई
completely collapsed.
खुले में
The
आके
Belon
बंदा
control
मार के
taken
जा
early,
रहा
that
है
now getting re-cleared. Navi will know that there's nobody here right now, but KC are just going to go ahead and take it right back.
Seeing the timing. Navi now look towards A, this tail drone pulling players across. And KC, slow roll once again. Just double checking mid. Yeah, they're going to think that
Oh
this is
shit,
towards
वो
A,
लोग
but
अभी time पे आएंगे
unfortunately,
क्या?
utility on B pulls them back.
KC have already bypassed this. Sadak gutting out the site itself, just making sure he has the space for the spike plant. All over
सब
from
है
Koala.
इधर लेकिन
Navi
वही है
pretty
लास्ट
quick
राउंड
in how they're
जैसा
looking to retake.
4v5 कैसे रिटेक करेंगे
Same time, look at those that post plant utility. Molly on Sugetsu, Sadak. I mean, Elite's got some of his
एंजल
own.
का
and
नेड तो
Abez.
आया है
Even
वैसे
has
लेकिन मॉली है नहीं
the salvos. This is going to be really hard for Navi to get through.
ओह
Kill already though from Angel. That softens things up massively. Martin missing. Not a player yellow side. All of them backed up into main.
भर दिया
Fragment
नेड्स
out. It was the salvos as well that we saw. It's a bit of a cluster on site right now,
Already
but Angel is
fused.
just sticking this all the way
Where's-
through,
where's KC?
holding the line, and KC nowhere to be seen. Sadak the last
Huh?
player left. The final remnant of this standoff. A
Ye-
well-executed retake. And a very much
बोला
needed
था
one
ना
at this
रिटेक
stage in the
आएगा
half.
4v5
Yeah, it was a nice retake, but what happened to the post plant? There was layering through mid as well. I mean, sure, Sugetsu gets the first here, but on top of that, there was further players to come through later in
Bye
the
bye,
post plant.
feeling
And
low
there was
from
so
few
much
days.
utility that
Lost someone in point. Thanks for
KC could
streaming,
work
feeling
with.
better now.
Rather
Love
than
you,
taking
Rajul
the
bye.
kills, I know
Please take
Navi
care.
tried to go and look for them, but just use that utility and depend
What do you mean
upon
goat
it.
को
You don't
झूठा
need
बोल
to
रहा है
fight.
टिबुन भाई देख लो वो क्या देखेगा
Wallace still standing. The walk down mid to frisk KC.
No way.
But
Oh, it's
almost,
info again,
almost,
but a quick
almost,
trade.
almost.
Only Ruxic walking down long.
At the same time though, right? You get rid of the tail, that's clearing utility gone, and not only that, post-plant utility as well. That could be a really big pick when we look at the post-plant for KC.
You're moving back over
Post plan
towards
nahi
B.
re, retake re.
Just clearing out this pocket. Seems like both sides grouping up on A. KC already
तो
giving
मैच
away
का
their
Watchparty
steps.
नहीं
The
किया
alarm
नहीं
bot
मैं बाहर था
contact
यार
hit.
शूट के लिए था मैं देखा लेकिन
Hero
मैच पूरा
offside,
देखा
they've
मैंने
still got the
2-0
thrash and a lot of those key pieces from the previous
पहला मैप
round.
लेकिन कमबैक मार लिया था ऑलमोस्ट हाँ
Retake should be pretty strong coming back in. Spike plant going to be successful here, but Navi are coming straight in. They're going to be quick here.
They are immediately on the site. Shao picking up his first. Angel right by his side.
go.
Looking like another successful retake. That's unless Sugetsu can do something to stop this, but Navi bearing on down to his position, have their third. A second successive round for the first time in this half as the defense continues to
ए
show
पॉजी
signs
हो
of
रहा है
life.
ना काम
I
हेलो
think as well, KC at the minute.
अब
maybe
Valorant कभी
let the
खेलोगे
chance
कल
slip
मेरी
to
जान के
really
टूटे
extend the lead. I mean, 7-4, 7-5. That's not a bad half at all. And that's why we're going to see
8-4,
and Zach
8-4.
introduce themselves into this match for
8-4.
the first time.
Nice, boys.
Do you require
timeout
permission for visiting
the game.
Watchparty or free for all? You need permission.
I think, you know, it's important to mention as well, stylistically, this comp already is very on brand with the type of Valorant that Sadak had been pushing for a long time.
लोग
when you
ऐसा
look
लग रहा है
back
कि कोई तुमको
towards his
मैसेज कर रहा
stint
है
on Loud, most well known there as an ex-champs winner. He likes to play with all the chips on his side of the felt, you know?
Yeah.
When you are in that situation, you saw it a couple rounds ago, where he can move up B long, it's constantly going to be re-smoked, especially because Navi are also running a similar comp here. Just complete information denial, all cards at his chest, and forcing them to try and re-clear, forcing them to commit pieces to the space, because the change that I've seen in the last couple
Notification
now
sounds
is that
आ रहे
Navi
बंद
are
कर दिया
immediately
बंद कर
getting
दिया
bodies in
आज
place
काम
and then
करना
just
है हेवी
flooding,
काम था
not
बट इसका
allowing
नाम मत
KC
रख
to
यार
actually
बुक
get
लग
the kind
जाएगा
of setup that they want. And when this chaos does break out, it doesn't feel like
कल ना
you know, the
Watchparty कल करूंगा ना
communication is there
कल
anymore.
करूंगा कल से नॉर्मल कल से कुछ काम नहीं है
Teams
12
having
तारीख तक
similar comp
मेरा
to
12 को है
the game plan at Avi.
रिफ्रेश
Because
पड़ी
Koala's operator, very quick, we all know that, but it's also a part of the map that he can watch and allow Navi to gain information through that. There is 3 for Navi on A, and Casey are walking straight into this.
Six spotted the first of those players, but he'll be without the poison cloud to try and
रिफ्रेश
face
करो
it. Angel
कैसा
goes
बन सब
solo.
बढ़िया
Sadak taking the duel against
Shot
the
बे
game leader on the other side and backtracking his footsteps. Shao into the utility dump. Martin.
बेचारा
Aerial.
एग्जिट भी नहीं कर सकता था वहां से
Unable to get the pickup. Ruxic still hanging around here though. Playing from below the pipes in the maze. Sadak flashing
Bye.
in. It just feels like wherever
खेल लिया
Navi
बे
try
खेल
to
लिया
go,
बे
they're isolated, alone, and now
ब्रो
removed from
क्या
the
खेला
situation.
बे सड़क
Hero the next to give a roll of the dice, but you don't feel
Take
any
pause,
better
मत करो
about
आज।
his odds than what we've seen up until this point, but starts well.
They're just
Oh
giving them
my
solo
god
engagements.
It gets
क्या मस्त
better.
साइलेंट
And
जंप
Hero
ओह
is going to find all 3!
Oh
A triple kill on the site from the
क्या
young
वन
star.
टैप था क्या
And a Red
साइलेंट
Bull
जंप
clutch that carries
था
on the Navi streak and the comeback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Like, KC just so disconnected. I can understand the first right. You don't know where Hero's coming from. This is forgivable. Martin, though, I don't know what's happening here. And then the last, it's just so easily given to Hero.
It's incredibly frustrating for Zaj.
Hero!
Hero coming up with another massive clutch as he has been dependable
हो
in
गया
those
बे
situations
कुछ का।
so far for Navi. Certainly not the first 1v3 I've seen him pull off
Huh?
this stage.
कोच
It
का हो
won't be the
गया
last either. Towards B we go.
Coach अभी
Straightforward
see
from
the next
KC.
month
This
coaching
has been a massive pain point for Navi. And the entry goes to Sugetsu once again.
भाई फिर
through that
से
mid
कैसे
jump.
Exactly,
एडवांटेज
and I'm glad you raise it because it's probably the third time in the last 4 rounds that we've seen that first pick
भाई थर्ड
come
टाइम
through
में
mid.
100 टाइम हो गया भाई
It's an absolute oasis for KC, but even though they've been picking up these kills. Still doesn't feel like they're getting the most value from them.
Interestingly enough, it's Rusik that has the op here, not Koala. And we're going to get the null command coming straight through. Players won't have the utility
Plant
to
हो
work
जाएगा.
with. And Rusik has a little bit of an angle,
नहीं
but
होएगा.
can't quite find what he's looking
हो
for.
जाएगा.
And that's an
Oh my
incredible
God, क्या
spam.
मस्त spam
Sada
मारा
just reverse
भाई.
engineering the smoke, plops down the molly, and Spike goes in. Sugetsu still hanging around.
ये
in
लड़ने
middle.
का जरूरत नहीं था,
Shao
लेकिन
does
जीत गया
remove
वैसे
him from
भी.
the situation. Looking at that post-plant utility, KC don't have all too much. They want to fight this on the front foot, but the thrash into the smoke could be huge. How many does it get? Absolutely
कैसे
nothing.
नहीं
It's
किया, कोई
Martin with
बताएगा?
3, and so KC do come up trumps before the end of the opening 12.
Yeah, it feels
W.
like death by 1,000 cuts by KC and the
मैंने
way
अभी
that they
देखा
move
no
through the
duelist
map.
comp.
Very
Icebox में
slow,
बहुत common है
very
यार.
methodical, looking to manipulate it in their own way, and they know exactly what Navi's setup is and how to counteract it.
जिंसीदा ने कहा
streak
क्या?
so far for
Excuse
them
me.
here on Icebox. Does it continue? Find out after the break.
F मत बोला ऐसा. जाए चाय लेके आओ. चाय तो खत्म हो गई. पंकज पको. हाँ पंको पंको मैं तो पिया भी नहीं आज चाय. हेलो Ledge. हाँ दोनों कर रहा हूँ. दोनों मैच कर रहा हूँ.
KC finishing the half with a flourish.
कर रहा हूँ.
8 rounds is what they'll take to the defender's side. Navi back
Shopping
on
करना है,
Icebox, where
shopping.
we'd seen strong signs from that
Uncle
White Party
shopping.
game, but again, it does still feel like a bit of a red herring. The back
10K.
and forth of wins and losses. They
Uncle
need to get
10K.
off this roundabout, otherwise it's going to be an
तो बाद
early
में कर
exit.
ब्रेक पे.
Yeah, I think for me, Navi, the last time that they played this through, they actually impressed me a lot with some of their call-ins, some of their ideas of how they wanted to approach this. We'll see exactly how that continues
हाँ
as they move on towards the attack. Carmine Court feel like the big brother in
क्या
this
बोले पंको?
matchup in terms of they understand how the comp
members
is
only.
being played
मेरे
out
को सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है
and
बहरा
how
हूँ
to
मैं.
counteract what
Nice
Navi want to
cancellation.
do.
Last pistol on the defense. KC did a very good
Go,
job
go,
at
go, sorry.
highlighting the flank. Being super proactive on this defender's side, and already Hero's completely isolated under belt, but calling for backup. There's a brawl going down, and KC draw first
तीन
blood.
बंदे दिखे भाई
See, it's a
उसको.
brawl, it's more like a beatdown. That flash is perfect though. The
भाई
trace in
sexy था.
Navi's
Blind
favour.
sexy था. Blind
Martin
sexy था.
trying to escape, but he's lucky to
भाई
do.
blind sexy था भाई.
Just
Blind
that.
sexy था.
Moving
कुछ भी
towards
बोलो.
B though, and KC have a bit of a notification through Elite's alarm bot.
लेकिन पता है ये लोग का प्रॉब्लम क्या है?
Information void on A
Mid
right
नहीं जा
now.
रहे.
Navi
ये एक रीजन
moving
हो
up
सकता है
on
नावी
long.
का ये राउंड हारने
Steps
का.
soon to be heard by Elite. His
भारत
utility
माता की जय.
helping
यस सर
take
राहुल
the pace of the flow
भाई.
through mid as Sugetsu has bought a
कैसा लग रहा है
rotation.
फॉरेन से ये सब
The
देख के?
spike is soon to go down and the spam's not landing.
राहुल भाई थैंक यू फॉर द
To deny the
10
wingman.
pounds.
Ah, he's got
है
it.
ना?
Yeah,
Pounds.
just about.
No problem for the wee man.
Martin still has that paranoia though. That's the other thing to consider moving into this. And well, as for Navi, the utility is looking pretty barren.
W,
It's all
W,
about
roll back,
these
W.
gunfights, and Navi continue to win them through this round. Martin though still up and alive, and you know
भाई
just how
निकाल तो
good he
सकता है
can be.
KC.
More damage being dealt, although Sugetsu now having to clutch up another 1 versus 3, and both players are low. This is doable. Shao lucky to escape here. And well, just for that,
Anti था
Navi
बे,
will get
chance ही
that
नहीं दिया.
pistol round.
Navi winning every single
Euros
pistol
है,
round
मेरे को पता है
yesterday
भाई,
against
Euros है,
the
मेरे को
team
पता
which
है,
led it statistically
मेरे को
BBL.
पता है.
They're still going out in straight sets from that matchup in the upper bracket. So
भाई
I'm
लेकिन
looking now
genuinely एक
can
बात
they
बोलूं
build
राहुल
on
भाई,
from this. It was a nice 2v1 at the end.
1000
For
यूरो
all
वाली
time's
बात
sake from
अपने 10
former
यूरो में की
teammates
ना,
against Sugetsu.
वो बात अच्छी नहीं
That's
लगी.
why, that's why I'm not fighting, boys.
समझ रहे हो?
Happy to take it back.
बराबर की नहीं
And
चैट.
he's doing well, considering we saw that statistic
आपने जो
yesterday
लिखा है उसमें
about how he's
aura है,
improved his
aura.
first death rate.
Not only that, helping support
1000 यूरो
the
वाला
younger
aura.
members on the team. Sure, Hero
Huh?
had his rookie year last year, but even there,
वो फीलिंग अंदर से
like
आती है.
walking into 3 players, never going to get all of them. So just backtrack. Yeah, the comms there. Hero asking for the support, knowing that KC do like to get very active. This time, though, it's a full rotation over towards A. 4 players to greet Navi, but that spike should go down
Patriotism,
first.
Yeah, I really like this response. There was 3 players towards the B side. Rooksik's called that, and well, the response from Navi is to immediately hit A. KC, though, very quick on the mark. The timing nearly works out.
कमबैकेबल है टेक्निकली
But at the
देखा
same
जाए तो
time,
ना,
Navi have
अटैकिंग
dealt
मैप
with
पे और 8-6 से
every duel
कमबैक
that's
तो कर
come their
सकते.
way.
There's
क्या बोलते
not
हो?
really much to fall back upon here if you're KC either. It's a well-played round from Navi as far as they're concerned.
And I think at this point, all the Sadak right now has been like, look guys, we're not going to win these duels, we're not going to win the post plant, so let's deny them the ultimate orbs, and I think it's the right call here.
Absolutely.
Binks bro, I want to become a
Sort
CC
of
and a
checkbox
streamer
up
of
on my
Valo
list, my
Mobile.
little
Can you
Navi,
give me some
list
tips
right now,
on how to
I
start?
think is how they're going to...
You want to be a streamer of Valo Mobile and you want tips on how to start. How about you wait for the game to start? Huh? How's that tip for you, brother? रॉल भाई सेंटी मत करो बेंच तो सेंटी क्या है बात तो है भाई बात तो है भाई इसलिए भाई यही चीज है भाई अपन देखो यहाँ पे कॉमेडी करते कॉमेडी के बीच में इसने सेंटी वाला फैक्टर लाया है भाई देख रहे हो इसलिए मैं ये सब चीज पे मैं बात नहीं करते एक भाई है भाई राहुल भाई बात +1 की है लेकिन सेंटी वाला बात मत करो यार बट डब्ल्यू राहुल भाई डब्ल्यू राहुल भाई that's very kind of you and that's W bro that's W
No, how does he
That's
get
the-
out? How
आज के
does
बाद मैं
my
आपको कभी नहीं
team
फंसाऊंगा
do that?
that's
An
W
escape artist, Houdini on the A site. But Navi back into that situation felt like they were so
Rude. मैंने क्या rude
separated at
बात किया?
times. We do see it in these moments where there's slight lapses in concentration. I mean, even then, they had 2 players re-clearing. They had Hero
Yeah.
Belt.
This is the frustrating part about Navi, is like finding yourself in a position to build that momentum, start to move
कभी जॉर्ड
forward
गैंग जब भी
in the
टाइटल पे
rounds,
दिखेगा
and, just letting it slip.
Just when you think it's the light at the end of the tunnel, the oncoming traffic heads in your
वाला मोबाइल वाली
direction.
बात तो रूट क्या है
Can Ruxic do anything for us here?
नंगा नाचूंगा नंगा
Not a
अभी
Turkish
का
player
अभी
to take on
अभी
the
का
1
अभी
versus 3.
नंगा नाच के कपड़ा लाऊंगा वापस
Make that a 1
पहनूंगा
versus
फिर
4
नंगा होके
as
फिर से
Martin is still
नाचूंगा
somehow
अगर
alive.
इसने क्लच किया तो।
Ruxic needs to go looking for a pick, and it needs to be clean, right? The unfortunate thing is that drone has identified
Nice.
exactly where he is, so he's not going to have much of a chance here.
Not at all. Ruxic looking for a head in the shop window, can't find it.
Back in business by the chat
Martin
bench to regard में having
denying any opportunity
excuse
for them
me
to build that
language
momentum,
इज्जत
and
रखे streamer
It's
का
something that's happened a couple of times now, which is frustrating to look at. But in terms of what KC did well here, just reading the situation, this is just ridiculous from Martin, and so unfortunate from the spray at the same time.
That's it, and I think
Bro,
for
Carlo thinks he's me. He's not, bro.
थोड़ा सा कान में पानी कम
There can
डालो
only be one.
हाँ
still though.
Alice a big fan
fight
कैसे
to
हो
come
Killer
back into this
boy
hole,
thank you for
he's
the
not
29
lost. It was just a
months
bonus round, but you have to remember that.
गोल्डी
It
भाई ने
seems as if
बोला
Navi want
संडे
to hit
7
this
बजे है
straight into A.
पॉसिबल भी है
Chance to
नॉट
bring us
पॉसिबल
to
भी
win
है
one, but as you say, it's the age all
पॉसिबल भी
going
है
on.
नॉट पॉसिबल भी है
Dizzy in,
देखते हैं
Players blinded in that AoE. So as it drops, Xiao's able to recover, and Navi gets so much space early round. Look at Ruxic walking up tube.
Timing.
Close to the turret.
I mean, could call for a smoke to come and support him from Koala.
Still not spotted though. While he sits around in this position,
भाई अच्छा पोजीशन में बैठा है ना
will
वो.
invest utility to try and clear. Hearing those steps. And the backup is now arriving.
गया सुगेत्सु.
Yeah, so it's 1 versus 1. Not even caught.
Jump
At least the
up,
base
jump
is here
up,
to
big
try
baby.
and cut off any rotations. But that's massive from the Turkish
gaya bhai.
controller. What does Navi
Ah,
do
jeet
to
gaya Navi
respond
bhai.
to this though?
हाँ.
I mean, the ball is in Navi's court. They're just going to
Mid
slow
भाई
the pace
पहली
all
बार
the way
देख रहा हूँ
down,
टीम्स
force
को मिड
KC
खेलते हुए.
to make an investment, try and trade out the space on the map. You can see Sadak is looking
Nah.
towards A. But as fate would have it, B is the site under threat, and there's only Elite here to deal with it.
That engagement isn't clean, but at least Kill has got
प्लान ने रोक सकता है.
something to work with.
वाइपर को
All
देखो,
three
वाइपर को
players
देखो,
though,
वाइपर को देखो,
all on
वाइपर
their
को देखो.
lonesome, and Ruxic once again coming in from mid.
Sitting in the
Viper
snow
को देखो
pile,
chat
just
map.
looking to split this up. Martin removes him though, and now Navi are the ones with their backs to the wall.
Flashes, have all the utility you could possibly want to come back into this one. Martin uses the ultimate to try and join up with his teammate, his leader Sadak, as he moves through B long. But Navi have moved forward, they've changed the goalposts, and now KC have got a really tough problem
कितना
here.
लेट जाएंगे लोग?
Martin trying to use a smoke to get on to Spike, but Navi are so aware of what's going on.
Kill from Hero as well there. That just
टेक्निकली देखा जाए
lends Navi
केसी
the
के पास
advantage, and as soon as they
पेसी है.
have note of those final
समझ
few
रहे हो?
positions, playing off of each
हाँ?
other really nicely.
अगर
Performances are
जॉर्ड
worth which we
गैंग
brought up
आया
quite a few
संडे को
times when
10,000
referencing
सुपर
these
चैट
teams.
आएगा.
I think
देखते
it
हैं
counts for
आके
Navi just
देखते
as much as it does KC in terms of the extra coaching staff that they've relied upon to get them up to scratch, to bring them to previous M80 levels,
बंद
if
कर
it's
दे, बस
Koala
मैंने
or
क्या किया?
all the rest, just having the comfort of someone like Hero on this Killjoy or Cypher, of which he prefers to the Vice he was playing.
Sugetsu needs to be careful
ये
here.
राउंड
The
क्रूशियल है,
early
ये राउंड
stage.
He's heard the gecko, but he doesn't know there's another.
He's solo. And Angel just knows it. I think he's seen that one a few
वो smoke के
too
वजह
many
से
times
शायद
before.
थोड़ा deep than
Martin does
usual
isolate the
था
lurk,
ये, हाँ?
and with that, KC do go level in player numbers. There is a little bit more support on the B side of the map this time as well, though, and the plant is yet to go through.
Yeah, the delay coming through from Carmenco to get players into position to flood retake is absolutely massive. But remember, Sadak is only on a pistol.
And that ghost can't do enough to deny, but the rest of KC played
ये
it.
रिटेक कर सकते हैं.
Alves
चंदवन
and
सब है.
Elite from up top, dropping in the stun. Koala gets his though and
Three,
gets
three.
out.
लेकिन retake-able है,
3 on 3,
retake-able है,
but the
retake-able
playing
है.
field is skewed in favor of Navi.
Double
Up
blind,
close,
but retake-able
paranoid,
है.
the back of yellow positioning is so constricted,
2, 3.
and that's where
Smoke.
KC have a vice grip.
Smoke.
Can Angel do any better for us in the clutch?
Oh,
The salvos
fuck.
are up,
अब
and the
करते हैं, try
time
भी नहीं किया.
is ticking on down. Even more
Plus
onto
नेड
Elite,
का भी
6
damage था
points of
उसमें.
health. One bullet would do it.
पूरे
Right
टाइम
up,
नहीं
but
है.
it's Martin again, and with
Time
time
है?
on his side, he can take Carmen Core up to 10.
Hey बे.
Double digits
8
reach
second
the
है बे.
big
Easy
ground for
easy लग रहा है किसी के
Carmenco
लिए.
to win out. Navi, when you think
Huh?
that they've found ourselves a way into the B site, a way to get within touching distance of their opponents, just goes the other way.
बहुत एडी हो गया उधर.
And now you start to look at the economy, you start to look at how the rest of this looks.
नावी को सपोर्ट
Navi
कर.
need to be
केसी पे
careful
लगा.
because if they
Excuse
lose
me.
this,
केसी
it
जीतेगा
could
बे.
be a
केसी strong है.
massive swing round.
Oh,
The
snap
good
आ
thing
गया.
for them is they have plenty of ultimates to use.
That's exactly it.
चैट जो भी लोग स्ट्रीम देख रहे हैं पट से लाइक कर दो. थैंक यू.
So that's how they choose to use it.
डराने वाला
Well,
art.
investing the ult back towards his own spawn, I believe. So just faking out the possibility of a flank. But KC have already cleared this. They're set up for the right site.
मत करो.
Down comes
क्यों?
in.
लाइक
And
करो.
they've got a combo util again to break it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic.
Nah,
And now
point wala,
Navi are
ult.
left stumped, scratching their heads. How do we get into this site?
There's another.
Gonna have to use the thrash to do it. But at the same time, like, the utility and response from KC is perfect. So it's gonna come down to these gunfights.
And now Martin's on an
चार
aggressive line.
बंदे stuck है,
With the
चार.
one-way smoke set up, you've got Aves here for contact. KC are perfectly in place, and Navi feel like they're out of options. Shower saving grace
ऐसे
though.
spam
That's
वर्जित है.
massive. Rooksick just hanging on the edge. Koala though gets two of his own. Martin out of nowhere. Still Navi
उठ ही
one
जाएगा
ahead,
भाई.
and Sugetsu nowhere near to bail Martin out. He could use his ultimate to
उठे
escape,
वाला
but
round है ये.
wants to stick around.
30 seconds.
ये
left.
गेम उठ ही जाएगा
Wants
chat.
to look for
लिख के
his
लो.
next duel, his next fight, and doesn't realise Sugetsu or Rooksick was
W
close.
W W
The Viper
W.
of Navi bailing out his team.
अगर
But it's
कोई
Sugetsu
क्लच कर
again.
सकता है पूरे केसी में.
Angel on the other side.
Spike
Huh?
planted.
Molly at his feet, but supported by Rooksick now, and this one should not be winnable, but Sugetsu's already done
Not
a boatload
winnable.
of damage. Cross held solo
Huh?
by Hero, drops back.
He's the miracle maker, he's the man you want to depend upon here. And with the Vipers pit down, that's the biggest obstacle that he needs to try and get by.
He's looking elsewhere.
इससे बे
Thinking about that next player, it's Hero.
अल्ट कैसे
He's the
मारा बे
one
2v1
that
में.
can shut it down for Navi
Who's left
and
right
keep
of
them
the
within
ult, man?
touching distance. Just 2 rounds now separating the teams.
Yeah, I was speaking about the economy, right, and how
शादी पे
expensive
लिखो तो मानो language.
this round would be for Navi if they lost it, but they put everything towards the middle of the field.
That scene
Only
like
one
करो यार, जोश
ultimate
दिखाओ यार
was
थोड़ा.
kept
सिर्फ
into
मैं ही
the
दिखाओ
next
जोश.
round. That was Angels, and that was only because it never came up.
It's crazy how in so many of these rounds it looks like KC are so well set up defensively, and then all of a sudden it completely falls apart. I thought there was an extra couple seconds there for Rooksick.
Yeah, at the same time, it was expensive for KC. They're down to Sheriffs, and now that's where we
Comedy,
expect Navi
comedy.
to start to get close to their opponents now. They're in that eco cycle of defense. It makes it so much harder.
Absolutely. And this is just another opportunity to tighten up that scoreline a little bit more.
दो बार
You
कर
take
दो
a
एक
step
ही
back
बार.
and look at the veto. In terms of these maps, you go on to split, but I don't think last time out was a fair representation
भाई
of what
अल्टी थोड़ा
KC can
heavy
do there.
है
Last
KC
3
के
series,
पास
they
ना.
haven't banned
तो अगर
it.
9-10 भी
been
होता है,
floated, and then a set.
KC अल्ट
Last
मारने
3
वाला है.
series, that's been left
11-9
open for
होएगा.
Navi.
फिर और
by
अल्ट मारने
Martin
KC
forced
12-9 होएगा.
The drone to
फिर
follow up and make sure that there's no one else
इनके लग गए.
hiding.
39 गेम खत्म मेरे हिसाब से.
Point that I'm making here, though, is that if Navi can
Back to
go
old
ahead
Xbox.
and win this
Age
map,
of
the series
Bija.
all of a
Age
sudden
of
looks very
Bija.
different. But it's
Age of
rounds like
Bija.
this that we've mentioned
Shot
time and
मारो.
time
Age of
again
Bija.
that just
Age of
don't
Bija.
feel all too guaranteed for them. And
KC
look at the
अच्छा खेला
setup.
था भाई.
KC have guessed
KC
correctly.
का attack
4
अच्छा था.
players on A, 30 seconds. Navi, can you get past this eco?
That's the question, right? Show's done well, so have Navi. It's starting to become a stampede of yellow and black, and
W,
they'll send
W.
it home. One is all there is
ये
between these
शिमला
two
यूट्यूब का
teams.
प्रोडक्ट है क्या?
Little rounds like that for
No
me,
shot.
which have your heart in your mouth, honestly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think Navi did a brilliant job. They kept it simple, used the utility. That's one of the margins that you can really exploit when you're playing against the low buy. And it's a confidence builder as well, because this is now a 1-round game. KC are coming up on some huge round-winning ultimates.
औरा
But nice
ना
to see
खड़ा नहीं आप ठीक
The
है बैठ.
vibes are being kept up by the duelist.
प्लीज मिड लो.
Have to keep an eye
जीत
on
गया
the
Navi.
lockdown
Navi around जीत
and an
गया.
Armageddon on
मिड
either
लिया जीत
side
गया. सिंपल है.
and how they're used. I imagine
ये मैप
Angel
को
will be
और
thinking
सिंपल
about
नहीं
how
कर
he
सकते.
counters Elite's
जाते रहे रुसेक्स.
ultimate. Still look towards him head.
Oh,
I was going to say that's a
Bola
big
na.
duel, but that's even bigger. Koala finding Sugetsu and an open up in A. Sadak at the same time is trying to find a timing here.
He just needs to hold on to this space towards screens. You've got so many strong ults to combine and cut back through. Absolutely no reason to overplay your hand, and he's done a brilliant job at just managing
मार दे
this
पहले.
space, which KC now backfill.
Yeah. Also, KC know about the late luck coming through kitchen from Rooksick. Oh no, deals with Elite. This is now an even
अरे
bigger problem
यार
from the French
ऐसा
side.
मारता ना.
No, it's Shao in the corner though. 2 kills picked up from him. Martin forced to just bail
ऐसा
from
वाला
the
ultimate मारना
situation
था
as
ना, opposite.
Navi have found a way
ताकि
to
वो लोग
tie
फिर
this
अंदर
back
पुश
up.
करे या फिर
It was
बाहर
a brilliant
कोने में
round.
बैठे.
KC came in with all of the tools and looked like they were happy to concede the A space. But then
मैं
when
तुम्हें
push
एटीन
comes to
जैसे दिखता है
shove, there
मतलब
was just nothing there.
It's the fact that they had the ultimates to come back in, right? And just didn't opt to use any of them. Oh, that's a big kill.
It is.
Because
G
KC
qualified,
are now,
yeah, G got
they have
qualified
no
to play
cash.
next month.
It's another equal round. Sure, we're starting to head into the end of this half, but this map, I don't think you should feel too desperate in using all your ultimates. And I think this is a
जरा
good
भी
time for
एनर्जी
him
नहीं
to
है,
try and
जरा भी नहीं, जितना भी
refocus the
एनर्जी है वो
French side.
फोकस करके मैं
Exactly,
मैच
and
देख रहा हूँ.
it's
जरा
another
भी
test
आज
of depth in terms of the strat book, what they
आज
want to
डांस
pull out on
एनएच
the
के
defender's side.
मेरा पैर
Feels
ऑलरेडी
like,
दुख रहा है.
you
आज
know, at
बहुत लंबा
times
शूट
on
था,
Icebox,
धूप में काम किया तेरे भाई
it is
ने.
a little bit reactive. You can't
मेरा
exactly
पैर
invest
ऑलरेडी
and
मेरी
go aggro
लग
like
गई
you would
आज.
be able to
समझ रहे हो?
on
हेवी काम
other
था आज.
maps. Not without
सुबह
decent
8 बजे
protocols
से
in
जगाओ,
place, but to go
अभी
back to the
9:30
prior
बज गया.
round as well, and
इम्पॉसिबल मैं
something
डांस
we'd already
करूँ.
been talking about a bit.
How about
I'm
5
really
के ना
impressed with how Koala is starting
विशाल भाई मेरी बात सुनो. सुबह 8:30 बजे एक बंदा जगा है. पूरा दोपहर को उसने काम किया धूप में, एसी में, समझ रहे हो, लग्जरी सोफेस पे, समझ रहे हो, आउटडोर शूट, इंडोर शूट पूरा किया है. और ना ना 8 के ना 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 इम्पॉसिबल विशाल भाई, इम्पॉसिबल. आज नहीं हो पाएगा, नहीं हो पाएगा, नहीं, इम्पॉसिबल है विशाल भाई. मैं आज नहीं बिक सकता. मेरी बात समझो विशाल भाई, मेरी बात समझो. समझ रहे हो? 10 विशाल भाई मेरी बात समझो. मेरा चेहरा देखो, चेहरा देखो. चेहरा है या चांद की ला है. देखो यार, देखो.
Needs to be careful though.
Yeah,
हाँ,
already missed one bullet.
कल करते हैं 13 के. नहीं, इम्पॉसिबल,
KC
इम्पॉसिबल.
eco, but
सच्ची कसम
I
से.
feel like when we fly stats like that, you
कसम
just
से.
know.
वरना मैं कर देता था ना.
that there
3000
could
के लिए
be
कर
trouble.
देता था.
I
आपको
mean,
मैं देता
every
रहता हूँ
single
गार्ड, समझ रहे
player
हो?
on the defender's side is within striking distance of this.
Of course. At the same time though,
Oh, there you go.
that's the sheriff has to get to. But you've
21K
also got to be
done
careful
है.
of Martin's hero.
डन सीन है. 21 के सुपर सेट में डांस करने को मैं रेडी हूँ. फुल एनर्जी है, ठीक है. लेकिन अगर मेरी टीम जीती, जो मैं प्रेडिक्शन दूंगा, तो फिर नो डांस. बराबर बराबर विशाल भाई. डब्ल्यू
Used
रेडी हो चैट.
not the same way that Navi had thrown them at some of their ecos. KC building towards something bigger in the next, but while all this is happening, I mean, look, you've got two more to build
Second
towards
map
here,
ball
an
done
Angel
scene
and
है.
Hero.
Yeah,
सेकेंड
See,
मैप
they're the ones getting the
है.
kill here.
that's even if they get the chance, right? Because Elite could easily just go and
Navi.
kill instead. No, calls it quits. Would rather keep
Second
that
map,
rifle
Navi.
into the next round as cash is pretty
नावी का मैप है.
tight
कभी तो
here.
खुद का मैप जीत ले नावी.
He'll go
Second
to
map,
11. Navi. Starting to
डन
get
सीन है.
towards the crunch
I
time
see.
in this map.
ऐसे विशाल भाई, ऐसे ये जो बैग है ना, ये पेंगुइन के पीछे, ऐसी बैग में, समझ रहे हो, डाल के सुपर चैट कर देना एकदम हैवी. 21 के भाई मेरे को अंदर से फील आया. जस्ट बिटवीन यू एंड मी विशाल भाई, एक बार ऑडियंस को बता दो, क्या आप 21K के ऊपर भी जाने वाले थे अगर मैं ना बोलता? क्योंकि मेरे को फील आया था आप बोलते थे ठीक है गांड मराओ करके. मेरे को ऐसा फील आया अंदर से, इसलिए मेरे को हाँ बोलना पड़ा. थोड़ा बहुत मेरे को 13 में भी फील आया, लेकिन मेरे को 13 के बाद मेरे को लगा कि आप 15-16 जाके फिर 20 जाओगे. आप थोड़ा लॉन्ग जंप मारा. बट बिटवीन मी एंड यू, अगर अप टू 30 के था,
Navi, who pulled the trigger
ठीक है.
first
अभी
on
मेरे को
it.
मालूम है नेक्स्ट टाइम मेरे को
Seen the
क्या
entry that
करना.
we
ठीक
saw
है.
from Martin in the last half. It's Koala to do it this time, but they've not
Done
counted
seen
for Sadai. Navi get the trades though. Still worried about Kitchen and a player potentially being deposited there. That was Hero, and he's gone.
9K का
Yet to make
नुकसान हो
his
गया.
move
क्या
back
तुम
side.
लोग भी
This
मेरे
is
जैसा
huge, and
आदमी
the
बन
spike
रहे
is
हो
still
भाई.
not down.
9K का
Chance to
नुकसान हो गया
deny
बोल रहे हो.
Molly doing
21
well.
जीता,
I mean,
उसका
at the same
कुछ
time,
नहीं.
trying to stall out using the thrash, but the Viper's pit has bought a little space in which to work with. Even the lockdown will buy more.
नहीं तोड़
Angel
सकते ना
trying to
इसको.
reposition towards Snowman, decides against it.
I think from this position, you can still sit outside the ult and spam if you're KC. It doesn't really commit too much space, and yeah, Angel is still sitting pretty here.
So it's just defusing.
Hit now gone, but Martin's gonna stick it all the way through.
Oh,
Oh, that's such a
my
frustrating
God.
way to lose the round, and Martin very nearly cleans the slate
Ninja
entirely.
defuse?
24 kills now for him. And we will be going to the very limits of regulation as it's a Red Bull clutch to give KC 11.
Yeah, it is. And also, it's a Navi timeout to try and push themselves over the line. I can
Over the
understand
lane.
why you would pull off the angle after the spam, right?
What do
think
you blind?
What's blind?
a little bit of communication maybe. But at the same time, the point I was making is like you pull off the angle because you get a pick,
सेकंड
not
मैच
realizing
केसी
it's
फॉर
not
श्योर
the
मत
diffuser.
करो यार
feel
भाई
as if
मैं
ना-
सच्ची बोलूं मैं लुली की कसम खा के कहता हूँ मैं सेकंड मैप पे ना केसी बोलने वाला था लेकिन क्योंकि नावी ने कमबैक किया है और नावी का मैप है तो मैं बोला नावी समझ रहे हो था तो मैं केसी की साइड पे जस्ट से
Which I
मेरा
think it's
मैच
important to
देखा
remind
देखा मेरी
again
जान
that
के टोटे
KC have
देखा।
historically struggled with
तुम में से
short.
कितने लोग बाय द वे नवी मुंबई से हो कितने लोग नवी मुंबई से हो 5 में से जो छोटी उंगली रहती है वो ऊपर करके बताओ नवी मुंबई बेलापुर थाने ठीक है बेलापुर चलेगा थाने चलेगा नेरुल बेस्ट कारगर ऑल्सो चलेगा सीवुड्स ओ फक सीवुड्स तो बाप ठीक है तुम्हारे लिए कुछ कंटेंट आने वाला है
Martin's the only one really backing that up.
तुम्हारे लिए कुछ
Martin's
आएगा
been unrelenting in his aggression, and I think at times Navi have struggled to contain it. You can see 2 players sat underneath Bell outside of A right now,
तुम्हारे लोग
as the
कुछ
rest of the pack
क्रेजी
is just
क्रेजी
cleaning
कंटेंट
up
आने
on
वाला
B
है
long and keeping the attention of KC, holding it. That drone is forced to re-clear it through Aves.
वैसे वॉच पार्टी कल करूंगा
The information that they need.
अभी
So
12
it
तारीख
should
तक
be
सब
easy
करूंगा
to start to lean heavier
WhatsApp, क्या
on the
WhatsApp?
A side, where Navi begin to make inroads.
To that extent, KC are not fully
भाई
sold
ये
on this
क्या
situation.
है ये
Knife goes into mid, that's a little bit of extra info, and now Sadak seems to have the right idea about it. Third player
ये मेरे को
over
एक
on
बात
A,
बताओ ये सब आप
fourth
क्यों
shortly
देखते हो
arriving as the rest of Navi will be. They've got utility to open this up, but that's very quickly removed with the ult.
कोई लड़का
Fitting the
नाचने वाला
side
कभी
to
रील
play
देखा है
from the
विशाल भाई
outside. It's Elite that actually gets the kill, not
Done
Martin,
it,
as he
done
tried
it.
to play aggressive.
Done it.
That Snull command is denying all the utility that Navi would want, and the rifles denying the players that they would want. 2 to the good now. But Navi still trying to play slow, and as they do, they just get completely cut down. Spike goes cold,
बाप
does the
रे
round. Hero has to clutch up
कैसे
here
मार पाएगा दो
to
जन
even be
को
within a chance, and with 10 seconds left, you would think it's going to be KC to reach 12 first.
फक क्लोज जा रहा है बे
And that's one of those rounds which does
कैसे
still
बिग
feel
बढ़िया
repeatable
गॉड
for
स्पीड भाई मत
KC.
हंसो
Perhaps not
विशाल
the
भाई क्या
ultimate,
देखते
but
रात
at
को
the
मेरे को
very
एक बार
least the
हिस्ट्री चाहिए
read. It's a
विशाल भाई
number of times now where we've seen them get into position but fail to execute from that game
Hello,
plan.
coach साहब,
So
hello.
this does feel very gratifying
नहीं,
from
मैं
their
reveal नहीं हूँ।
perspective to win the duels. Hero keeps it close, but
have
still
a good
too
point.
far out of his wheelhouse.
Relax, guys. Everyone relax, please. Okay.
ओके रिलैक्स
And I
मैं
think that's
रिलैक्स
the big thing.
बड़ी
Talking
में
about
रिलैक्स
emotions.
मैं क्या
Relax
बोलूँ
here.
नेक्स्ट
That's what
मैप
Sue was
केसी
asking.
भाई रिलैक्स होके
Sadak.
खेलो ही मत मैं तो बोलता हूँ
How easy is it to control the emotions of your team?
KC would have won the mid round last time out. They do it again here. In terms of info, it's the first 20
मिड
seconds
लिया ये राउंड नावी जीता ओटी जा
he
रहा है
lost to the clock.
I like that Molly line up to try and get rid of the turret. It's gone. That mid control now lost for KC. A big question mark, but Sadak has the cross at least to make sure no one walks through. Just doesn't know about kitchen though.
Navi are yet to really involve themselves here.
भाई
They're still
चार
with this
जन मिलके
two-player
मिड
pairing,
क्लियर कर
both
रहे
of the
ब्रो
lurks.
Still an alarm bot.
Brooksik
The
and Hero
fuck?
starting to show themselves in Sui's direction. It's backed all the way up. still playing from yellow, but 2 players dragged over, and now A is open for the taking. Navi are still not fully committed to this. They are spread thin, and you've got 30 seconds or so left to play with.
Everyone from KC is almost here, right? Apart from 2 towards that B side. It's Topsy, Turvy. No, they're going to use the Armageddon to clear that back space if you're Navi.
But there's such a small lane to actually play into, so that fragment's already done a lot, and KC are ready for retake.
Yeah, they're so ready. The utility straight back in. That lockdown will buy a little bit of delay for the attack.
Post-plan lockdown BT दे दिया.
Absolute chaos as utility goes traded. So quickly keeping tabs.
अभी ये लोग को W तो बना
little
पड़ेगा.
left for themselves. Angel Salvos is about as good as it gets. There's still flashes and stuns on KC's side to come back through.
Shao finding himself another pocket in which to work, and Navi supporting him in his endeavours. 2 players left, make that just a 1. It's up to the captain, the leader of KC, or it will be overtime. And I think there's a nice little ribbon put on this by Navi. We are heading all the way.
Oh, I mean, KC had players in position. It was a tug of war.
Bro,
and that was splitting at the seams. I think it's the perfect demonstration of how much the synergy between the players on both sides has.
बासुंडी की छठी गांड $@ हैशटैग एक्सक्लेमेटरी मार्क जो सब आपने नाम डाला है वहां पे, हाँ, कीबोर्ड के सारे लेटर्स खा गए हो क्या? कीबोर्ड के सारे लेटर्स खा गए हो ना? नाम लिख पा रहे हो ना? बात क्या करना चाहते हो वो लिख पा रहे हो? बोलना क्या चाहते हो? ओ डॉलर भाई साहब, पक्का इसका नाम साहिल रहेगा.
KC go. An 8-4 half from them to kick things off, but Navi respond in kind. A little bit of pressure put on early towards this right-hand side. Spike posturing in the direction. It's classic calming court. You're expecting them to go quiet and then re-hit in the latter stages of the round. But the question being, how much information can Navi collect in the meantime?
Poison's off.
Oh my god, the swinger from Ruxic. At the same time though, Navi have cleared through mid. They've deposited a turret just to make sure no one else comes later. And they can focus completely on this side.
Immediate suppression there to just stop this retake in its tracks. Tap of the plant from Sadak, waiting for the reply, and here it comes.
Players back in, Martin, KC, 1 player to the good, still Spike knocked down, but don't necessarily need it. Winning out the deathmatch here, and the null command denies Hero his utility. So he has to depend upon his rifle, in which he has been hitting his shots and continues to do so. A similar position in which from before, KC, Sadak, he's low.
Hero's heard the drop in as well, and Sadak,
Technically देखा जाए तो हीरो क्लच तो कर सकता है.
That's one flash in which he could set his Viper up, but instead finds the timing. Versus 1, but that flash is what
puts
KC ahead in overtime.
Close था.
And now Navi needs to
पहला शॉट कितना क्लीन था ना?
That's overtime.
The Sadak self-flash as the skipper has sent them onto another map point. I mean, in terms of the opening engagement, it was good. KC doing enough to dissuade that quick flood. And Sadak really turning it on when needed.
Own hands में लिया.
It's okay. I carry you in overtime, guys. Papa's online.
He was saying earlier that he had the youngsters now to just put him in the backpack, but he's the one in these big moments, these killer moments, showing up and showing out for KC as they go into a timeout and look towards him and the coach slot for answers.
Well, that's it, right? This is the last time that KC,
ये लोग मरने के बाद सीन्स पर क्यों नहीं चिल्लाते?
From here on forward, they just have to hope that they get the reads right, the plays right. Want to finish it early. Navi will still have 1 timeout in overtime. That's the other thing to consider. That would be the other time that Eng and Zeish get to come back
मेरा
into
DP
this
देख
one.
के ignoring my chats.
With that being said,
ऐसा हूँ, तेरे को लगता है मैं ऐसा हूँ?
ready to send this one back in for another round.
लेकिन अभी मेरे को
Yeah,
रीजन
looking at
मिल गया ये
Navi's attack
चैट
here as well, it
ये
did look
वजह से
really
तुझे
strong
ignore करने
towards
का।
the end, but my concerns still lie with how
लव यू सतम भाई
some of them felt a little bit readable, that you were reliant on moments from players like Hero, who now sits at
निसर्ग
the top
भाई
of the
थैंक यू
sheet.
फॉर द कनेडियन
For Navi,
ऑस्ट्रेलियन
scorecard,
डालो मेरी जान
21
के
kills to his
टोटे
It might even just be a pace change here. I'm seeing 4 players at the B barrier, and with that smoke going in early, they look to scale up behind it.
So gets it doubting himself from pushing forward into the smoke like last time. That was easily countered by Angel.
ये स्वेटशर्ट कितना मस्त था केसी का कोच वाला
This
फिर
pace
मत में कब आएगा
extremely
ऐसा
slow,
एक्सक्यूज
waiting for
मी
that execute to happen. And KC have read
Well,
into
Mark,
this.
मैंने
It's
पहना
a
तो तब देखा
completely
कितना मस्त
rehearsed
था
execution. The mosh pit landing backside, but Sugetsu following it up
GG,
from
GG,
close.
जीत गया
Koala
केसी।
with a quick trade, but
जीत गया।
Sadak's still alive. Looking to carry the rest of his team through OT,
गया।
but it's
आवाज आ रहा है
Alez
क्या?
that finds
गया।
the next kill. And one by one, Navi drop. The spike is on the other side of the screen. Koala up top, but Alves knows it
जीत गया
and
केसी।
nails the shot.
गया।
Such a big kill.
And how do you even get that spike back? It's really difficult, but that timing's insane.
Individual play from
जीत
Roxy,
गया
more
केसी
coming
जीत
up.
गया जीत
A
गया
lead
जीत गया
there, and now Hero
अब
once
जीत गया अब
more.
कंफर्म जीत गया जब भी बोला जीत गया बेंचो ये लोग का एक
Can
बंदा
he
मर
find a
गया
way to do it yet again? The 19-year-old falls.
जीत गया केसी
It's
मैं बोला
elite
था
to best him. 14-12, and in overtime,
Not
KC have
even
icebox.
close.
They do have Icebox. It's their own pick
Not
as
even
well.
close.
So the next one off split. We
तो
look
अभी बेसिकली तुम लोग को मैं मूवी का वो बताता हूँ स्क्रिप्ट तो बेसिकली क्या होता है मूवी में कि एक कैसी रहती है वो लोग जीत जाते हैं मैप उनका ही मैप वो लोग जीतते 14-12 और वो लोग में आते कि मोमेंटम में कि भाई अपन जीत गए लेकिन उनको ये नहीं मालूम कि उनके मैप पिक ने नावी ने ऑलमोस्ट कमबैक मार के उनको हराया तो नावी का मैप पिक में नावी कैसा खेलेगा ये ना नावी को पता है ना केसी को पता है तो जानने के लिए बने रहिए इसी एपिसोड में क्या बिंग्स भाई कमा पाएंगे 21K सुपर चैट जो मेरे को नींद का सख्जर होते लग रहा है चैट में चूते होते पे पागल होते जा रहा हूँ हेलो हाँ लोडिंग भी हो रहा है स्क्रीन क्या सीन क्या है लोडिंग हो रहा है मेरा नेट है क्या मैंने तो म्यूट किया है हेलो है पॉइंट्स दो W क्या लिखा है इधर F सच्चे F हो रहा है क्या चैट इसका बना रहे मेरे को इधर खुद का स्ट्रीम दिख रहा है ये F हो रहा है
gives you wings.
Hey, how about I do 720D जब तक चालू नहीं होता भाई क्या हो गया भाई पॉज ले ऐसे बातें कर रहे हो इसलिए वॉच पार्टी राइट छीन लिए एकदम हाँ? चंद्रा चौहान मेरी जान के टोटे कॉर्पोरेट बोलते हैं एड रेवेन्यू किसको चाहिए जब 21,000 सुपर चैट आने वाला है ए भाई अच्छा गाना है भाई औरा वाला किससे आ रहा है विशाल भाई से प्रिमेश भाई मैं सच्ची बोल रहा हूँ प्रिमेश भाई ये लोग का ज्यादा हो रहा है अभी समझ रहे हो विशाल भाई से 21,000 आ रहा है उसके वजह से लोग बाद में भूल जाएंगे कि प्रिमेश भाई कौन है तो मेरे हिसाब से आप 50 कर दो बेंच समझ रहे हो आज हो जाए सुपर चैट वॉर चैट रेडी रहो पॉपकॉर्न के साथ सुपर चैट वॉर हो सकता है मैं आया पानी लेके आया वॉशरूम लेके आ, पानी लेके आ, मेरी चैट जान के चोचो।
You done it?
Yeah. Coming to you guys.
Nice.
Bro, Koala thinks he's me. He's not, bro.
What an exciting way to kick off the lower bracket here at playoffs in VCT Emea. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm back here with Mini and Hypok once again. This matchup, very interesting one. Head-to-head on Omen, on Icebox, you don't see it very often, but do you guys agree with Martin there? You know, Koala didn't do his best Martin cosplay?
I mean, I think Martin is the best Omen Icebox player we have in EMEA, so I would agree with him, but Koala wasn't bad, but I think Martin was just different gravy.
Yeah, I don't think this was heavily one-sided, but I think I mean, you look at the first half, well, even just kicking off with the pistol round, how active Martin was, particularly towards mid, which seems to be something that KC have built a game plan around on Icebox. And even in the rounds where, you know, they weren't there, it was Sugetsu to kind of pick up that slack. So, yeah, for me, Martin takes the head.
Yeah, I know it was a long time ago, but those early rounds, the momentum that Martin gave them with the pistol round, and then the bonus round too, it was just those nice TP plays in, and you know, it's not easy to TP in an Omen and pretend to be a duelist, so fair play to Martin.
Yeah, and the 35 clutches also helped, I think. He was always diffusing, always the last one there on that clutch. The stats are doing...
Well, maybe it is one more one-sided than that.
I think it's doing Koala a little bit dirty, because he did win some huge rounds to take them to OT in the end.
Yeah, but Martin had 270 ACS, so I'm going to have to...
Yeah, it was certainly,
Stats
it certainly felt a
Yeah.
little more flashy from Martin, which is, I guess, no surprise.
Yeah, I
Stats
think
don't
Koala
lie.
to me
Stats don't lie.
is the op agent player, and when their defense was so lackluster, it's going to be hard to get that economy rolling to do what Koala does best, which is...
Yeah, I asked you guys this while we were watching the game, but this is the best offer in the EMEA.
Oh, yeah, I don't actually think there's much of a discussion with it. We were saying as well, there's not many other crutches right now, but Koala consistently picking it up and looking pretty deadly
Yeah,
with it.
when you said it, I was a bit surprised, but then thinking through it logically, I agree. I think he's the best.
Are they relying on it a little bit too much, do you think? Because when he doesn't have the op, it does look a little bit more shaky.
I don't know how you don't rely, like if they're good with it,
But
and then
you
it's
know
not,
what I
you know
mean?
what I mean?
But you want to have more than one thing that you can rely on. What are the
I
other
agree,
things?
yeah, absolutely. But if they're not so good at the other thing, then they just have to lean into it. It's unfortunately
Yeah,
how it works.
I think bigger picture-wise, we're probably unearthing some other issues within the Navi camp. But yeah, I mean, if they've got the opportunity to, I think they should be tapping into it whenever they can.
Well, I tell you what, though, Sui is going to be very happy about taking on map 1, you know. Last time they played against each other, Sui, little bit emotional, you know, some gestures on stage, which I am all for. But he also has some very, very big rounds. You guys mentioned the early couple of rounds we saw from KC right out the gate. He was in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, he was. And I think as well, whenever you see Sugetsu even being vocal about anything, you know that it's kind of, there's a little fuel to the fire, right? So it's good to see him come online here at map 1, particularly with this matchup. Again, it's a player that across stage 1, I think we've been asking more of, or wanting to see more of, because he's one of those players that kind of, he can stand on his own 2 feet. And it's, you know, we always see him in these individual scenarios delivering. We haven't seen much of that.
Yeah, I think on the attack side, I think it's a very good VOD for any Viper lurker to watch. He had the experience to know when to go for those lurks and when not to, and when to group up. He didn't have like, you know, a Martin level performance, but the maturity was there. His decision making was good.
Team game, you know, team game. But let's talk about the next map. Because if Navi do not win on Split, their season will be over. They will be missing out on the second Masters of the year. And after the group stage they've had, you know, taking down Vitality along the way, this will be a bit of a shock, right, Hypok, for them to go out this early?
I wouldn't say shock.
First team to be eliminated.
But, well, cool. That's a scheduling issue. But, yeah, I don't see it as.
Oh,
it wouldn't be
no.
a big shock, to be honest. I think.
Really?
I think honestly, coming in today, it would have been a bigger shock to see Navi come out and comfortably, clear KC in the opening elimination game. I think to come back to the veto, this is where it kind of feels like we might actually see map 3. I mean, we talk about the dreaded week 5 KC loss to Liquid, but again, how much stock do we really take from the loss to Liquid? But
Depends who you ask.
yeah, well, yeah, but reps-wise, I mean, Navi coming in for me, tongue-in-cheek here, but I'm saying favourites for map 2, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think that maybe I should have hit it more before the game, that I think it is a clear favourite KC Icebox, and then Navi did a good job to get it that close, and I think this one's a clear favourite for Navi. 13-0ing a team isn't the easiest thing to do in the world.
No, regardless of who, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen them on Split, though, since that 13-0. But I guess I asked you this question about Icebox with KC, so I'm just going to throw it back. Not like that. Throw it back in terms of the question. What makes Navi so strong on Split?
Their awkward defense is a problem for teams that don't have a good read on it. They have the double smokes and the Vice, and it's not a very common composition on that. So that it's a very defense-sided comp if you don't know how to play around it. I think Fnatic did a great job of understanding the weaknesses of the comp, whereas the other teams didn't. So it's down to KC, I think, whether they've done that homework coming in, expecting it.
Yeah, I think this one leans heavily in the prep region for KC. Again, I think coming into playoffs, that's something we top of show today. We said it's almost a benefit for KC to come in, have the ability to obviously watch an extra game, but also really look at likely scenarios, who we're going to be playing game 1 coming out. I think this is probably the matchup you would feel KC are going to be anticipating, so they should come in here. If it's available in the veto, we're going to see it. Then actually, let's scrap the Liquid performance.
तेरे से स्नैक्स याद करो Watchparty कैजुअल आई थिंक ये लास्ट मैप है जो मैं करूंगा मतलब यही मैच नावी वाला करूंगा मेरे में जान बची नहीं और मेरे को आधे जान में फुट वाला नहीं करने का
Yeah, the one player that's just been consistent in every situation, no matter what, as of late, has been Hero. And in that 13-0, he got 22 kills in 13 rounds.
Hello?
Yeah, he was the reason they managed a 13-0 GS.
Yes, I was talking about Sagetsu's
looks,
but
yes,
Hero,
sir.
to me, like, even when I coached him, he has a very good understanding of the timings and like when to do it. And I think Split is a perfect map, especially on that attack.
Why'd you kick him, man?
I wasn't in the team. I left.
No, you were there.
Stay safe and believe in the Indian Army. Yes, sir.
Bro, you keep throwing me under the bus for these changes. I left the team and they made their changes.
Would you have kept Hero if you stayed on Fnatic?
Okay, spend time
Honestly,
with family and relax.
I don't think so. No.
Oh, why not?
Why not? He's so good.
His lurking is very good. I said his lurking is very good. I think there's
do
other aspects
what you're
of
asked
this
to
game
do,
that
stay indoors.
would need to be well read.
off.
I think in the context of Navi, he's clearly their best player right now. I think that he's phenomenal.
And pray for the
team.
safety of our soldiers.
My standards for the game are to go to internationals and win. So it's a little bit.
You'd make a great politician. That's all I'll say.
No tech boss. By आज मत करो, please,
But an answer
please.
like that.
I didn't even grill him. I
आज मत करो
I
tech
could have
boss.
said I would have kept him. That would have been the politician.
Yes.
कल Pacific होगा, हाँ
That would
कल
be
होएगा.
more politician-esque, just a lie. I feel like that would have been better. Who I do want to see come online a little bit because, as you said,
Is
Hero
Jordan
being their
happening?
best player
वो
right now
चीज़ तो
is
Sunday को पता
Shao. When
चलेगा.
have we ever seen a Navi where Shao is not the best player? This has to be the
Stage
first year.
Stage
right?
one.
But that's what I mean. That's how weird is that sentence?
It is. But again, I think this is.
क्या
it
भाई
comes back
अपनी
to
body
something
देखो,
Gordon
हाथ
mentioned
सूख
earlier
गया
as
है.
well, where there seems to be a little lack of direction or unified direction, because it feels like some rounds you watch and Angel and Shao are playing for Navi 2 years ago, and then you've got 3 other people in the lobby that are kind of like, okay, well, we want to do. I was saying during that, actually, looking back at stage 1, thank God Navi have Koala, because it would literally be like a funeral in comms some rounds, and we're just not seeing what feels like a cohesive team working towards the same objective, be it game plan, be it round by round.
तो confirm बोल रहे हैं
Jordan
gang हो रहा है Sunday को.
victim to that, to be honest.
It's also
तो मैं भी तो बोल रहा हूँ confirm Sunday को देख लो ना क्या होने वाला है.
Never looked as
convincing,
good, and it's like at this point I'm asking myself, is this to do with the fact he's not playing quote the Sova role, or is it just time has passed a little bit and Shao isn't the player that we once thought.
Chat आज
Well,
भी
let's take a
पता
look at
चलता
agent select
10
and
के
see
likes
what
पे by
Shao's gonna
5
go
के
with here. I
कब
mean,
हो
no
गया
changes on
जमाना
the
मेरे
side
को
of
वो नहीं
Navi.
मालूम
Why
हाँ
would they? You
इधर
know, they
2
look
के
so
likes नहीं हो रहे
Yeah, exactly. I think that Navi
10
changing
के
their
likes पे
very big
reveal
surprise on the KC side, changing up to the double.
by Vice अच्छा I love Vice I love
I
Vice
believe so, yeah.
Martin and Aves.
I
Aves
love
has played
Vice.
Raze on a couple of
लेकिन
maps.
Vice का counter भी है
I
YouTube
believe.
He has,
So
yeah.
I quite like this change from KC.
Well, yeah, I do like this as well. And actually,
Ooh.
when you talk about the switch up as well to kind of overcome Hero on the Vice, actually you have 2 great gap closers.
10 out हो
And
गया क्या?
double duelists.
Sen
We
तो
already don't talk
master
about it on
चला गया
Split, how
भाई.
much success you can
Yeah, and there's also the comp, I believe, that Fnatic
Quality
did
बढ़ा
against
बढ़ा रहा
Navi. So on there,
हम
it
लोग
should be a pretty
notice
good
करते हो यार हर
Typical
चीज
Mini, always wants to make it about Fnatic. Let's send it back to your casters and see if Navi can take us to a map 3.
It's a map 3 that we've been waiting for so many times, floated in the veto, but all focus on Split right now. That perfect map from them before, first 13-0 of the EMEA partnership era, a 3-year wait since 2022, finally ticked off on. With a flawless defensive half though, they start on the attack here, something which KC can't go back and look at and, you know, pick too much away from.
Yeah, I think like the desk got it spot on in terms of
GE
this is a
qualified
clear
for
Navi
Masters,
favourite moving in towards this. Obviously, you can't take much away from the Team Liquid game, so I'm
Next
excited to see
Masters.
what improvements KC have made since that rescheduled match and what they have to like bring
तेरे इसके
forward
मैचेस
here,
क्यों नहीं
right?
क्योंकि मैं शूट में बाहर था
Absolutely. The question is, yeah, what does that prep
Do you
look
like
like?
Kerala
This
banana
new
chips
version of
going down low
KC?
क्या नहीं यार मैं 2 दिन खाया banana chips
Very
मत
low
करो
win rate, sorry, for Navi on
Navi
their
has
own
a
map picks, but
25
they're going to
मत
need one of
करो
them
यार
here.
मैंने Navi pick किया भी
Start off, it's 5 players outside of
करो
A,
यार.
as Sadak, the sole guardian of this site.
Yeah, not finding much from that. KC holding on towards mid, and with all that utility, Sadak is trying to stick around here. Something in which to work with. The Haunt doesn't get much in terms of information, but Navi have at least got a very open plan.
Yeah, it's sort of off towards the screen side, and so that's where they're going to go. Navi funneling players towards the defensive half. They've traded places because it's ramp that's re-cleared.
As
Bye, bye,
Hero
bye. Baap
in
need.
the pocket, Shao.
भाई बाप ने मारा
Found one, but that's all it's going to be. As KC now
Oh,
start
shit.
to get things underway. On towards the A site you look. You've got to think about Elite deposited towards Heaven to just catch out a late lock, but Navi are stopping KC and there's tags! Find the pistol rounds.
Another attacking pistol round won by Navi. Now looking back, if my math serves me correctly, that's 4
Chat,
out of 4
can we
of those
have
attacking pistol rounds
Vishal
that they've
bhai
placed, and
OP
on this
in the
map,
chat?
Great way to start it because, as we mentioned previously, they only needed to win that last time. It was a mid push they went for, 5 players strong. Similar thing here, but it's A, and I love the plant spot. I love the awareness to be looking for Elite in Heaven there too.
Yeah, and I think for me, Navi bring out that iconic
Language.
buy. Once again,
God
3
speed.
rifles there,
God
much to
speed
work
buy.
with. Remember, KC can find a way to
Huh?
try and find a couple of those rifles and pick them up and work with it. There's 4 players sitting, 5 players
Five,
sitting.
eh?
Like badgers in a hole. RV Pest Control looking elsewhere. Oh, or are they?
Don't think so, mate. I think this is going to be beat.
And you could only hope. You could only hope. There is a world where they walk into that, but still,
बच गया
Navi, on a lot of
Bad
these
guy.
rounds, and as we said before, building towards that bonus, it's about keeping
At the
things
time पे ना
clean. They
split
have
लेने का,
struggled
सीधा split
massively
लेट.
from these positions so far.
Macho
It has
date.
been a real dampener on what otherwise, we're talking about a team which can have an upswing in form. You know, it was the 13-0 on this map against GX, which made you think, oh, okay, Navi are really back from decider to decider.
Yeah.
Against Apex, that
सारे
series,
city
you go
जाएंगे
into the
spike से
Heretics
पटेंगे.
game though, and it's a quick reset. Back to Vitality, BBL, reset again.
I feel as if, though, for me, when I think about Navi, we're
Uh,
always
you were-
waiting for what was promised,
English
right?
है
A
भाई.
team that should be reaching international events, have
सिटी जाएंगे ना सारा
veterans that have done it many times before, but I always feel disappointed, right, in terms of what the heights that they actually reach. It's always one step too far for them.
Look, this elimination game
भाई
important
बहुत मारता है
to
काउल
just show that they can endure those trials and tribulations as KC have moved that train of players into the corner. Against the Pistols, they are going to win a couple of fights back. But you look at Navi's current buy, those purchases which they will be able to keep. As all of KC go down, it's 3 rifles retained into the bonus.
And this is where we look at Navi, right? Because this is a few times now on the bonus round, they've come in with a fantastic buy, but they've never been able to back up the promise of that, right? Something
चैट जो लोग नए आए हैं स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दो 2K लाइक्स होने वाले हैं लाइक का बटन दबा दो
They weren't able to do it yesterday, not necessarily in the first
मैं
map.
रिटर्न आऊंगा
Can they
तब
do it
लाने की
here
बात कर रहा
on map number 2?
Split their selection, starting on the attack.
PH also better.
KC that want to make the first move of this rifle round. Navi anticipating it. Crossfire placed. Martin in play. TP available, but opts to go against it. It's Elite at his back, which fires 2 shots off, finds 2 kills. Navi down to their last couple players.
Yeah, and the sound cue from the announcer showing that the spike is down in shops. The last 2 on Navi, Angel and Ruxic, to try and fight back into this. Ruxic in towards the back lines. Angel has to try and come from source and has utility to clear players in the spots that they're in.
Without help in this position though, the in-game leader. It's a slow trickle of util out from the belt, but that is a tether. Aves has been spotted on the other side of the wall, but what do you do with this? It's nothing, it's just a distraction.
Yeah, he's baiting for Ruxic to come into spot, although Sadak has identified what they were looking for, and now Angel left all on his own.
This is a round which has very quickly crumbled. Like sand, it falls through the hands of Navi. Nice mid-jaw from KC. They read the situation so well, just felt like they had their finger on the pulse in terms of what to expect from Navi in that round. And so that's how they get on the board.
I would love to know if we could get a statistic on the amount of rounds that we see Navi come in with a full buy and end up losing out. As for this though, they move in towards the rifle round in the next. KC with a brilliant read. And it looks as if they're read into this one too. There's 3 players on the A side for the defense. And Navi have all 5 ready to hit it.
First of those players is Martin again, but he goes down at the hands of Koala. That neat. It's gonna drop in for damage, but nothing more. Satchel away. Sustain on the Navi side, and it looks like they just want to dive straight in to this push as well. Aves to receive them. The wall is a little too tight for him to play around.
लेकिन वो लोग damage खा लिए हैं थोड़ा.
To stall out Navi. I mean, they're trying to look towards heaven now, but
I mean, the defense
happy to give this up.
Spam back through, but as soon as this wall drops, the timing is everything. Nearly caught with a prowler there, Sadak, and he falls flat. Elite by his side. So gets to trying to creep up behind
सारा दिन का थकान दूर होने वाला है.
the wall there, which I'm not quite sure if it got trapped or not. I didn't quite catch that.
No, it's still up.
WWG होगा जब बुलाएंगे तब होगा.
I mean, has the TP if he really wanted to go buy it, but is worried about players maybe coming through vents and repositions towards shops.
And so Hero's job here is to just clear out all that space and make sure there isn't an oncoming flank, that the rest of Navi can group up with some comfort.
तुम लोग ने देखा हीरो ने क्या किया?
I mean, Navi don't really have money to go hunting either for these last 2 remaining rifles on KC, and I think the defense will be happy to try and save them out and have something to work with in the next round.
My ult's ready.
I mean, on top of that, you get Koala's showstopper up as well. Maybe just looking for a couple of exits here from Sui in the attacker spawn.
So round number 4 ends with a gentleman's agreement that Navi will remain in front. So just hunting for some exits, but it's Hero who has done his job and stood the test back on this Vice, which, you know, at times we say it's a Sentinel, but plays much like an Initiator in the way that you have to be very acute with your utility usage. That Arc Rose is fantastic for mid-rounding.
Next round important
You know, you look back at Heroes history on former teams. I remember all the way back in the Wild days, right, where they were running an Ascent comp when he was on the Phoenix. Look, let me cook. On the Duelist with flashes. Because, was not something that he felt comfortable with in his agent pool, right? In terms of how you look to try and be very specific with where that utility is invested. But I have to say, I'm very impressed, as we get to the point, with how he's been playing and gravitating towards, the same role, but a very different
That was really nice that the replay ops were able to highlight the smokes as they were forming was what gave the attack the notification of where players are. Remember that showstopper available for Koala, and KC have a buy here. If they lose this, it could be all upset. And they have made their inroads in mid once again.
Such a strong position for Martin. He can immediately send himself over towards the A site.
Ping's going out on the A side from the Navi at the attack.
That's the question, you know, does he commit to this TP in the final few seconds of the timer? And the answer is no. KC remain with their double-layered setup towards middle, and that's where A now comes under threat. Aves on the off angle.
Seen the fast trigger discipline, works well, but it is only one, and it's Hero the Sentinel that's gone. Chance to maybe try and go for a flank here as Koala gains space in towards screens.
That first player gone, Navi have the man advantage, but they don't have the space. I mean, you do still have Angel coming late ramp with this open plant, but there's no tower player.
KC are quick onto the site to try and take the fight. Shao denies that.
Hello!
It's going but still Navi come out on top. And that's a really big round to win for the attack, because they're gonna break the defense by.
So Navi had the open plant, they had Angel in main, and then I think it was it Ruxic who TP'd up onto the platform, and we're in smokes as players are walking back through. I would love to see that from another POV. But Jules won as far as Navi are concerned, and it has pushed KC onto an eco here as well.
Yeah, and you look at Sugetsu to be the only one with a rifle trying to spam in B main, where there was plenty of bodies to hit, but unfortunately not a point of damage felt by Navi.
Set up with this very deep wall, of which I know Mitch is a massive fan. Just starting to investigate mid now, late on. KC have put player numbers here multiple times. This is one of the first where they show us a more passive style.
Yeah, and at the same time, Martin's getting a load of information just sitting in A main. Doesn't have anyone to fill that space in heaven, though. That's the only thing to worry about for KC. Martin, though, with a chance to maybe take that main space if it did come through mid, but instead, this is looking like a B split.
I can feel that something's in the water. From tower, Koala goes, supported by the long TP backside, making the cross, connecting with it. And the transfer as well is there. Angel by his side, this is comfortable for Navi. KC, again, just feel like they have players in the right position, but in this round, it's the guns and it's Shao that shuts it all down.
That Cosmic Divide now up. You're wanting Angel to try and get a pick or at least get caught out, and he is going to get that. So the Nightfall is well being kept for the next round. An in-zone flawless and well played by Navi.
And looking at the players here as well, that's 4 out of 5 that didn't break their heavy shields, so still have all of their armor, don't need to pay for a single upgrade, and that's absolutely huge in terms of bolstering this economy.
Angel taking it by himself, bro.
Speaking in the third person, and Navi playing like they're sat in the audience right now, I think, in terms of how they've approached a lot of these rounds. Even if it has been the site where KC is set up, it just does feel like they're winning the duels convincingly. We haven't seen all too much to get excited about from the defense so far, but that's where the ults start to come up, and this timeout has that much more importance placed on it.
In terms of what KC have been doing though on the defense, like how do you change that up? What do you do differently? It feels as if like when it comes to some of these retakes, Navi are so well prepared and what they need to do to stop Carmine Core coming back in.
Also, you know, just even the mid info as well. Like, many times you'll see a round of split be decided on who has control of that area of the map.
super chat milne wale
All the more
Panko.
intriguing that neither of these teams are running the Breach or the Teho, right? The
Kya bolti
premium
Bandai ki
refreshable
public?
utility that you have, those signatures to take that space. So, an opportunity to try and exploit. And well, there you go. It's another 1,000 kill landmark hit, and it's Angel that has gotten himself there. Round of applause.
भाई क्या लगता है कैसा कमबैक होगा वैलो मोबाइल में ऐसे दूर से
pretty much free as they set Koala Noob up. Sadak though
आकाश भाई हाथी पसंद
spot
है
in which he can try and keep himself alive. Koala catches a Vez. There's more players there to fight.
It's just Sadak looking like him from elbow, crunch in
Shao bhai,
from the vent
10%
position.
आपका
But Navi
Love you,
just
Shao
know
bhai.
all too well.
SWAT cats thank you for the membership मेरी जान के
Spike goes
टोटे
Into the retake, gets his first 1v1 and takes Angel out of play.
But that Viper pit is still up, so if Navi lose control of the spike, could get a little bit worrying. You still have the Astra util up, 4 stars on
भाई
ship.
रेखा को पूछा बिंक्स करके सीधा टाइम आउट मिला
The
होना
extra
ही चाहिए
utility, but Elite wants in. What a statement this
करो
is.
बकचोदी
Viper's pit dropped, still not spotted. Had the molly
बदल
out,
गया
was
ना रेखा
thinking
यार
about
क्या
it. Gravity well, the expected response,
वो
still no
इसलिए मेरे साथ
stun,
नहीं
still
खेलना
no
चाहता कि मैं हाई
challenge. Navi should
डिफिकल्टी
be
में
looking
खेलता हूँ
to
समझ रहे
take this on one player at a time, just means that they can buy themselves the clock as much as possible. That's how you've got to manage the situation. Navi doing a
पैसा नहीं
great
है
job, and while
सुगित्सु
there
के
isn't a player
पास
left to tell the tale, that is round number 6,
पैसा
and some
नहीं है
serious security about this attack side now.
Yeah, they've done really well to
कल
get the
पैसिफिक
advantage
होगा
that
होगा
they've
मेरी जान
got.
के टोटे
This round, I don't know what happens. A bit of chaos, and I was worried for Navi moving towards heaven.
हेलो विशाल भाई
Shell does well to get
आवाज
rid
आ
of
रहा
that.
है
For the next one, we're back to another
Hello.
swing round. KC, well, if they lose this, back to an equal route. They've got the showstopper to use though.
Just feels like such a telegraphed play though, Cairo. So Casey,
आज
wait a
तो
moment
पनीर
before they pull
बनेगा
the trigger, and it will go off with a bang. Avis has 2, but he might need more. Gets his 3rd, can't get out. Rooksik with 2 bullets in the outlaw finds 2
Rooksik!
kills.
love you यार love
Control
you
of
यार
the spike back on the Navi side.
Do well to get the even trades. The Angel now coming to support Rooksik in his endeavours.
Casey
How
playing
about
the
the
mid round
match
nicely
deal?
though. They've regrouped both players. They're now starting to walk back down mid and have a look in. Hero's wall is missing from sewers, and with this information, they know there is the possibility to commit to making this a double flank.
डील बताओ
For Navi, you're wondering how much extra real estate they're willing to take in this situation.
It's not only that though, there's plenty of time to play with if you're on the attack, and the timing here is absolutely
डील
insane.
बताओ make a
Navi are taking a
make a
lot
deal
of it to get onto the site. They don't have enough to play around with.
I've not thought about this at all.
Absolutely, and it's Elite and Sugetsu right behind as the spike looks to drop in. It's the player instead. Angel another, up against Elite. First bit of damage goes his way.
Still has utility.
The captain to clutch it, and then around he goes to the corner. The spike plant tapped, but Elite finding the shots and putting KC back on the map.
I mean, at the same time,
30 second वरना 0 match and dance मतलब next map तो मतलब मैं 9000 के प्रॉफिट पे 9000 नेक्स्ट मैप पे बेसिकली 9000 लगेगा कंसिडरिंग मेरा एनर्जी नहीं चलेगा 21 चलेगा मेरे को 21 चलेगा
KC aren't out the woods yet.
21
with their
चलेगा
economy either.
समझ रहे हो greed is bad greed is bad chat
Targets to hit.
21
He's doing
चलेगा
so. He's got 2 and he's out.
I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Ek
And then
second.
right behind it, you've
क्या
got
मैंने
Elite with the
jinx
molly
किया?
and the smoke, so No chance Navi to get back in here anytime soon.
टफ है अभी
The
भी
Prowler will
केसी को
clear a
जीतना
player 10
ना
paces back, but Elite remains ahead of the curve.
easy है
and
केसी
that's
को
where
जीतना
Angel
easy है
will
अभी
fail
भी
to clear him. It was a 5 versus 2, but Hero gets one back in the conversation. Again, though, these players are so split up from one another, and you're asking for heroics again to win the round for Navi.
I mean, these are the players to do it, though. 2 to fight Roxy. Nearly gets a second.
It's just the one that he settles for, though. It looks to have paved the way for Hero on the A site. Haunt drops into Heaven. Casey should really be expecting this second player, though, and you can start to see the movements on the map suggesting
Vishal
it
bhai, I
as
have
well.
a deal for you.
Hero's trying to look for something to work with.
I have a
Have
deal
to
for
be in
you.
these situations.
How
Does
about
have both Thorns, Arc Rose, and ult
अगर
if he
third
gets
map
to it.
में जीता
It's another situation,
तो
a
total
clutch
30
of
के
which he is so capable.
अगर नहीं
But
जीता
will he be up to the task here
तो
to
nothing.
confirm that advantage on this attack half?
It would be a big round if
समझ
he
रहे
could do it. Has had
But in
highlight
any case,
moments
dance
before. We
से मैं
think
बच गया
towards
dance से मैं
the
बच गया
GX game where it took
No
him
dance.
a long time to have his first
एनर्जी
death.
सच्ची नहीं है यार
To come up in a 1 versus 3 here, you've also got to consider Sadak has the Nightfall, which he will use, so Hero loses a lot of health, Decayed, and decides to go for an ultimate of his
Wow,
own.
ulti
He
commit
fancies
किया
this, as the
उसने?
players send it their way. The reaction's unreal!
Oh my goodness! क्या?
A Red Bull
What
clutch to
the
set Navi into an advantage in the second half.
That's absolutely disgusting from Hero, and he
Hello?
knows it. 7th secured. And it's a situation where you feel like Casey have to take the time out. Actually, it's Navi that call it. Maybe for composure more than anything else, but we chalk the situation up to be exactly what it was. One that Hero was capable of winning. So many multi-frags on that standout display that we saw against GX that you mentioned there.
And I think as well though, you say like maybe for composure,
भाई,
but there is
ऐसा
still a
clutch नहीं
lot of
देखा है
mistakes
भाई।
that Navi are making within the actual round itself.
भाई,
It
ऐसा
was
clutch नहीं
heroics
देखा
that
है।
won them that, and sure it breaks Casey's back.
मतलब 30 के या फिर 0 no dance
This is what I imagine we're seeing from the coaching staff to
Dance
come in and talk
नहीं,
about,
no
and
dance.
just like make sure we're not putting paper over cracks.
out of respect I can predict the third match also
Completely
Sorry.
agree with what you're saying.
but no dance
You don't want to wash away that blood without sealing the wound. And Navi certainly coming into this game with a few,
अब
plenty of things to
नहीं
consider
होता
coming
ये
out of
खाना
the BBL match,
बनाना
right? The story
बर्तन
as it
धोना
was,
गोटेश
they won all 4 pistol rounds. It was in the rifle rounds where they struggled. Moments like this
मतलब
make all the difference, and just looking back at it, I mean, there was no sound, so for Aves, just trying to get the element of surprise. Oh my lord. Zai's just reminding us that he has had a trim as the hat comes flying off the head.
That is insane.
But that is a Red Bull clutch for the books, and now looking at the hefty bill that
गया बे।
KC have been forced to foot here,
I have the spike.
it's
हो
just
गया।
pistols. A Bucky, a Guardian,
I mean that's what
अबे
you're looking
काम
towards,
वाली
right?
choice
I mean,
weapon, right?
बंदी
Martin
ढूंढ के दो
has been
जिस हिसाब से
the
तूने
enigma
सोचा है ना
many
कि
a
बंदी
time
सिर्फ
on
बर्तन
Karma
धोएगा
and
भोसड़ी
Corin.
के
I mean,
बंदी ने तेरे को
Sadak was
लेडी
talking
मिलेगी
about
मुंह
it. We
में
need to know when to use the X factor, and well, in this position, they certainly need it as they
लेमन
go to
क्यों
take
डिलीट
these
किया मैं
fights
तोड़ रहा
in
था ना
mid.
उसको
Last time it was 2 kills for Martin and a TP out, but on a round such as this, you're happy to get away with the goods. Anything that can just snowball the late round into something a bit more winnable, and he's even going to invest the ultimate.
इलायची है
Gets a
ठीक
rifle
है
back in his
thank
hands though
you
because he's using that dimensional drift.
Yeah, and the pass is the one that he had over to Sugetsu. So with every
Oh,
passing second,
W.
this defense continues to get stronger.
W.
And that's the story of the B site. A 4th player pulled over, Elite on the approach as Navi get ready to walk into this one like lambs to the slaughter.
Look at that little gap as well, so Getsu would have information to try and shoot through, but Koala's beating it
First try, second
slow,
try.
and the gunfights, they're going Casey's way.
Quick trade, still numbers with the defense.
Oh, 2v2
Angel does
इधर
get spotted, but look at
Timing.
Aves
भाई,
walking
Hero को
out,
नहीं
15
मालूम।
seconds, still no
हीरो को
plan.
नहीं
And the
मालूम
spike's down cold. How does
happening?
Angel get that back?
Unreal from Carmine Core in this
इससे ना
round.
जो रन उनको
Sure,
नहीं
you
जीतना
can come
चाहिए,
up
ये
with
जीत
a
जाते,
huge
जो रन
individual
इनको नहीं
moment,
जीतना
but when we
चाहिए, वो
call on a
जीत
team
जाते हैं,
performance,
जो रन उनको
it's
नहीं
KC,
जीतते, इनको
the
जीतना
deliver,
चाहिए,
the
वो
pay safe card
उनको जीत
thrifty.
के ना इनको जीत के हारते
Now
वो है
moving
कि ये
into the
जीत जाते हैं,
next.
समझ रहे हो भाई?
Even after Navi timing out and still losing
क्रेजी
that
सा हो रहा
round,
है.
they have ultimates in which to work with. These are really nice shots from Sugetsu and Martin that were able to snowball into a round win.
And that comes through it being a micro masterclass as well. Just the finer details.
Yeah.
Passing a weapon over. Not, you
Double,
know,
double
blowing
tower.
all the cash on a few different guns. This time it's the full, but it's Martin again! How does he do it? Every round good for the one and still not down.
Brooksy trying to play up above once again, at least gets the trades out. So no more Viper utility on the
Nice, eh?
defense.
And that has been a mainstay through middle in terms of how KC could dictate the pace of play. Hero on another one of his signature lurks, and that's Sadak gone. As the captain is lost to the A site, it
उसको
opens
लगाने
up
थे इतना जल्दी
completely
कोई लर्क
for
कर रहा है.
Navi.
There's also a cosmic divide for the post plan to even buy
हमने भी
more
Binks से
delay.
love you.
That's on top of what Hero has already thrown to the deck. The wall, the thorns, and the flash in front. Fake out from Martin to try and clear this early util, but the divide is up early, and Navi are ready to receive those players.
KC know that they can't get out of CT, so they're repositioning for Heaven as a way of getting out, but at the same time, Cosmic Divide is denying them any sort of
भाई
line of
spike
sight
भी
here.
नहीं हो सकता है retake.
Running the wick at both ends, but knowing
इतना भी loading लाओ मेरे सामने.
that this is all the time that they've got left. The util's gone in and done
This
its
one
job.
castles continue
Martin
or five
trying to
gifted?
pave the way, hold the
Five
torch,
gifted.
but it goes dark. So get to the last player standing.
Why more people can
Long-serving
watch my
member
stream?
of Navi under Angel. But with Hero, the new boy on the block, having his mark made on yet another round, a lurk turned into a full sight hold. Thought Martin had done enough.
क्या हो रहा है आज इतना लोडिंग क्यों हो रहा है बिंच क्या हो गया इनको आज मेरा नेट बराबर चल रहा है भाई टिबिच का सीन है ये टिबिच का
His ability to find these picks is coming up time and time again. This will be a really big round if Navi can win it, because that would be a 9-3 half. Martin trying to be the one, the difference maker, but instead it's a difference maker for Navi.
So quick to take the A site. Elite's already got a sheriff. That's all he can have. Doesn't matter. After the ult, it makes no difference. Sui one back, still heaven control. Spike going in, and look at Angel. Not Angel, sorry, it was Sadak on the other side. I thought we had some kind of a flank coming in, but no. It's all bodies as far as Navi are concerned on A. And a retake which just doesn't feel feasible.
No, both players disconnected as well. How do you even get back into this one?
Short answer is no. Long answer is no, you don't.
Insane, 5 gifted and cards. Love you, Arjun. मेरे को मालूम
from this
था.
defender's side. It doesn't even feel like they've hit the baseline. Navi, the ground running on their own
आराम
map, pick
streamer
of
ही कह
split.
दे
Can they
विशाल भाई
carry
मेरे को
that
नहीं
onwards?
समझा
We'll see after this.
वैलोरेंट आज होगा या नहीं बताओ कल होएगा आज नहीं होएगा रे कल होएगा और 2 दिन बाद तो कुछ ज्यादा ही होएगा क्योंकि पैसिफिक भी खत्म हो जाएगा 2 दिन में 2 दिन में खत्म ना पैसिफिक कल लोअर ब्रैकेट फाइनल्स और परसों अपर ब्रैकेट ना 2 दिन में खत्म ना आई थिंक 11 तारीख लास्ट है पैसिफिक विशाल भाई 21 सारे लाए Any thoughts on replay system coming by? भाई मेरे को जेन्युइनली जानने का कि रिप्ले देख के करोगे क्या? बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं कि रिप्ले सिस्टम हैकर पता लगाने, वो तो वैसे भी रिपोर्ट करते हैं अपन. सीखने आज तक तुम लोग मेरा स्ट्रीम देख के नहीं सीख पाए हो. करोगे क्या?
Something a little bit more here. 5 ghosts brought up. Just playing the default, looking for a pick off any player.
Something to bring it back to.
भाई
what
रेगा
Sad
से
Hack
एनएस
was
के
saying
तेरे
in
बिना
that interview was
बे भाई वो.
just have to focus on things round by round, and in a 9-3
यो
deficit.
ओनली जिसके लिए ट्विटर
you would
पे भी
expect this
गाली
is
खाता हूँ.
exactly the
लव
game
यू यार
plan.
जेरी भाई.
Kuala
कौन
noted
गाली
through the
देते
haunt.
तेरे को?
At the same time, KC are also got their eyes set on mid. They've got a vice wall to try and fight through. It's procced, and that hero's got a chance. That was a right click.
And he was on top of the wall as well. It's not too often you see that played, but this is the kind of
Love
stuff
you,
I'm
Hero.
talking about. Game
Love
by
you.
game, his vice looks to get better and better.
Angel.
वाइस के वॉल को सेज वॉल
He's
बना दिया रे.
exploring an avenue in which you don't necessarily want to be in, and he's being hunted down at the same time.
There's a double tether there though, so has bought himself a little bit of space. Still no support. Angel, good for the first. Still, Navi are so slow to follow this up.
Yeah, and if they try and execute in towards A, those storms that are live, as you've just heard, will
भाई
deny
थॉर्न
them
डाला
entry.
करके वो लोग
30
वापस
seconds.
हेवन लड़ रहे हैं.
30 seconds left.
But, I mean, damned if you do, and if you don't, go back to middle. That's where Ruxic is already waiting on this fence
भाई
side.
वो लोग दोनों
But
को
the
लगा
A-hold can't
कि
hold up its
वाइपर
end
वॉल
of
के
the
पीछे
bargain.
बैठा है कोई.
Sui's found 2. Navi are on the other side of the veil. The
दोनों
curtain put
उधर
up in
देख
their
रहे
face.
थे.
And the plant coming in open, even without that extra control.
All 3 players ready to play off one another, but that's a big kill from Shao. It
What's
brings it
Marabish
back
on?
even. And the last 2 remaining players on KC are low.
And out in the open, Martin felt like a sitting duck, but quickly he responds. Shao, the healthiest of the players left in the server, looking for more, but it's Martin that makes manifest this KC attack side berth.
Yeah, I mean, that's both teams with 2 pistol rounds to their names, 1 on each map. And again, though, with that being said, getting this one over the line is going to be a great way to start this half and their comeback into split.
कर तो सकता है.
Onto the attack side as well, something from
हाँ?
the Liquid game, the glimpses that we got of it.
Jetway by
Was the post plant.
please pray
Had looked a little bit shaky at points.
and believe in army.
Go no further with that conversation, but the point being is, as this one moves forwards, you're looking at it being double dive, right? Something which, again, Sadak has shown affiliation towards, typically the Jet, but Martin's Yoru, iconic as it is, you're wondering how much utility can they stockpile when they get into these positions? How difficult can they make it for Navi to have successful retakes?
पहले से दूर था बहुत टाइम. एचएल मैचेस कब है? नेक्स्ट वीक से मेरी जान.
I think this time we'll see what we saw on Icebox in terms of denying orbs and taking it slow. So
नहीं मिला और.
KC, this will be number 5, so we'll end up 4 rounds the difference between the 2.
Hi, dictator, please. Hi. इतना गया गुजरा है रे. हाँ? हाथी का लंड पसंद है क्या रे? एक तो तेरे से तेरा गवर्नमेंट ने संभाला जाता. इधर आके पिकाचू बन रहे भोसड़ी.
Single point away from having his in the next, and there it is. From the shadows comes online, as do KC. That's 5 now, looking towards a very strong bonus round.
Yeah, and can KC now show Navi how to convert a bonus round with their buy? because they have all 5
तुम लोग
players
की
on a
वजह से अच्छे
rifle.
लोग बदनाम हो रहे हैं, इतना
Some
याद
nice
रखना.
shots all in, but I mean, it was futile resistance coming through from Navi. Still at the same time, Navi have been building up the same time some really nice ultimates and halfway towards Shell's Cosmic Divide.
A little.
Slay bestie. It's the highest win rate in that metric. And it's a round like this when you're looking at 4 Vandals, a Bulldog, and quite a few regen shields, in fact, 4 of them. Big fans of the new kit.
Delta होगा पता नहीं यार, हालत नहीं है मेरी.
AC slow on their mid approach, but taking the necessary steps. The Haunt clears vents.
I'm
but
solo
Ruxic is
Valor
here,
player. I am
and with
hard
his
stuck
rifle
in
hand,
B2
that's
for last
Martin
2
gone.
years.
No trade.
Yeah, still supporting.
एक साल में improvement आ जाएगा
that
एक और
utility
साल में.
combo looked good, but
Miss nade.
yeah, exactly. It just doesn't get the nade just doesn't hit as well as what it should.
So for these early investments, all
भाई, ये
KC made
crucial
towards
kill था.
mid,
ये
they haven't
crucial
really
kill
held
था.
on to the space. It's only
Against
Avez
the
deposited here. Can't quite track Ruxic as you saw Sugetsu find that kill on B and send it back site, but to Hero he goes, and to the spectator screen now.
There's a lot of ambitious plays coming through here. And will KC get control of the A site, you're looking at Avez in the position that he's found himself in.
It's just going to be calling KC back towards this side of the map, towards B, behind the standard lurk wall. They will go into vents. Hero just about in position to catch on to this, but does he expect Avez? The reason for the rotation. A deep clear, but he walks to the open, and that's the advantage for the attack side.
Yeah, that could be the deadly blow on the round.
Comeback हो गया
15
भाई.
seconds, plenty of space to get that spike down. As for the 2 remaining, Koala and Ruxic, they have utility in which to work with. Most importantly, Koala's nade.
Smoke setup as well are going to completely estrange the main players. In fact, it's a little...
बराबर जेरी
short
भाई,
of the mark.
बराबर
It's just to
बराबर.
help cross into sight, and always the possibility of a player swinging back from outside it. Navi are slow in their movement to the side.
Yeah, but look at the crossfire, you can't really swing out into this.
Someone's going to have to soon, though. Surely not another full stick. Satchel coming in to push at least a player off, but the spike's already been halved, and that's where someone needs to step up. Someone on the Navi side. It has to be Ruxic. Second smoke, but can't find the firefight. Sunak delivers a bullet to his brain. That's a 6th for KC, and I tell you what, Cairo, it's the bonus that they've picked up.
Yeah, and not only that, you win the bonus, you destroy the buy of the defense. And Navi, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they're letting another lead potentially go to the wayside, this time in the round count. And you think for a minute that they're going to be able to get the defuse through as well.
I'm so stupid, I didn't.
I don't know what it is he didn't realize. Potentially the smoke's still in play. I feel like that would be a bit too much of an oversight. Okay, nice shot, Martin. Into his dome, he's 5 HP left. But I think that round as well tracks what I was saying about those post-plant situations. KC still grouped up though, able to haul it through. The threat in this round for me is Koala's Bucky, but yeah, solo A. Spike not yet committed, but Navi already showing they're willing to show face.
It's like, yeah, the threat is Koala's Bucky, but are they going to go anywhere near it? I mean, it looks like Elite is though.
Spike is behind this, little bit separated.
Oh no.
Koala up close. This could be a problem, but as Elite walks and just hugs the back wall, that's the safety from the Bucky. Away from striking distance. KC on the A site. Moving here with intent now, all 5 players, heavy main control, but concessions made towards spawn. It's such a long rotation for Angel though, so yeah, there's no real moves to be made right now.
Oh, that is a big move though. That should cleared out main completely. Navi won't know that, but it's still all 4 players on site. If they can constrict them and stop them from getting out, 4 rifles could be lost here.
Shackled by the thorns, sent out by Hero, the tether on top and the reveal behind it. KC looking to win the round at the very least, but can you get out with the guns if you were able to? Ruxic finds 2. Shao needs a couple more. He's not going to be able to win this, but in terms of damage control, I think Navi have made a bit of a dent here.
Double damage.
KC up to 7. And that's the big
Final
talking point.
will
Just
be-
2 rounds in it. Still the defense
OG
yet to
Navi
pick one
and
up
VCT.
when they had a flawless defender's half last time they played this map.
And that's the big thing, right? And I wonder
Sunday को
if
देखा
that's
जाएगा
what
तेजस भाई.
PC looked at in terms of their ante in towards this. If they were thinking about game plan management, right? Their defense side didn't look too good, but their attack even better.
And one important
यार जो लोग
statistic
स्ट्रीम
that
देख रहे हो लाइक
needs to be
करो
mentioned
मेरे
about that
हिसाब
defense
से
is that they didn't
comeback
concede
आ
a
रहा है chat.
single first death, Navi. So
केसी
they always
अटैक
had
बहुत प्यारा
the
खेल
run
रहा
of
है और
play
उन लोगों को
going
बहुत
their
पैसा
way.
भी है.
It's these uncomfortable situations again, which is the serious stress test of how well the team is doing.
Martin, close, did see Koala, but Ruxic hasn't been identified. He will do
Bro.
after destroying the fake out. Well,
Bro.
thinking about the dimensional drift instead.
Bro गलत खेल रहे हैं
Sets
भाई
against
केसी.
it.
And
Huh?
KC don't want to rush this. They're playing the game at their own pace. They have the tools now.
भाई
Sadak's
मजाक
still
से
with the
हटकर अगर
Nightfall
ऐसे
available.
खेलने
So
लग गया ना
if you wanted to
एक राउंड
tag
में
up
जीत
a
पाएगा
couple
ना.
players, you could potentially get Martin in behind. But it looks like he's just going to full send it B instead and clear out. Some of this potential utility wall included, but no fake out to remove it.
Yeah, remember, the dimensional drift doesn't have as long as what it used to be, so the Nightfall comes in, and Hero's found a pocket, trying to work it, make it go in his favour, but it doesn't. Shao does instead. Needs to win against Sugetsu and does, and puts Navi at one player to the good, trying to use his own star to make a pocket where he can walk and does so
ace?
on for the ace, but it's Koala who's in the next engagement and
Oh
loses.
my
Loses a chance now for
God,
Elite to run to the
Koala!
other side of the map.
Green light. And in terms of what he has to work with, he still pocketed that poison cloud. One off the pit as well. So many tools to just play around. And Shao coming back into this, just a single star and not much health to support it.
Viper's pit, and I mean, it's not as if you'd have much health anyway. Elite quick on the swing out. A Red Bull clutch brings us within one of these two teams.
And as I said before, Navi are just not getting these rounds on their own terms and conditions. I have to say, after KC finding that opener, it did feel like they rushed things and it was kind of messy towards the B side of the map. Navi doing well to dissuade, but I mean, Elite winning another clutch for as many as Navi built their empire on their own attack side with these 1vx's. That is such a backbreaker now. 5 rounds consecutive and you're digging into empty pockets.
You are. Again, defense eco is never kind when you find yourself at the back of a run of rounds from the attack. And what do you talk about here if you're Navi? Try and amend the mistakes that you've been making.
We've seen that Navi are very willing to invest and upfront some huge ultimates in rounds which don't best suit them economically. However, they don't really have the ones that I think you could really cause a problem with here. It's more looking towards that retake.
And I was just sorry to cut you off, mate, but like you think that you say that, but I feel as if a Steel Garden on a retake, you even the playing field. Like, I don't hate that idea, but the one thing I do hate is Navi always invest in those ultimates.
Yep.
I was just about to say that when you look at Happy's history, even as a player, he was always someone very good at doing more with less, at least in terms of weaponry. So
हेलो रात को गेमिंग होगा पता नहीं यार भाई एनर्जी की मात छुदी पड़ी मजाक से
situation we're in, it's Hero. The Sheriff in his hands this time. A hand cannon, as it were.
And there's always two ways of approaching a round after a timeout. Do you either play it fast and loose, or do you play it slow and methodical? And KC looking to go the latter route. As they dot their I's, cross their T's, and Navi are like moths to a flame, trying to respond to any sort of pressure.
Yeah.
KC are poking and prodding throughout the map.
And they still have a minute left here as well, Cairo.
It's of Nightfall as well.
It is.
भाई डिले के लिए अच्छा है लेकिन डिले करके करेंगे क्या?
From the floor of A main. That's where the initial aggression was. Navi kind of hoping that they can shepherd KC into the setup. They're still going to get the B execute. But this one feels like it's at KC's pace rather than Navi having set the precedent.
Shao found out. He's able to get one of his own though. And Ruxic has a Spectre as well, so as you come onto the B site and close quarters environment, you would favour Ruxic here.
Around the smoke, there's a Spectre in hand. Hero also on his lonesome, 20 seconds time. Not really here for them, needing to clear out those couple of players, but look, Aves is a safe pair of hands. 2 kills quickly, Spike in a spot where you would want Koala's nade maybe to stop it. It's going to take a while for him to get back over. The rest of the upgrades are on site. Angel does have the Vandal, he's trying to play it kind of early.
Yeah, and that horn to clear close by, but that rifle now passed over to Koala. He doesn't even have shields either.
No, and I don't know how much more of a go he wants to give this. He won't get half a
तो
chance.
डांस कब कल
That's
करेंगे
6
मेरी जान
rounds
की
now.
पहले स्ट्रीम में
Successive for
दोपहर के
KC. Split should have been
Intro
the
में ही
shoe-in
करेंगे dance.
for Navi, but now you're looking at the real possibility of a completely catastrophic second half. The defender-sided half, of which we saw be airtight for them before. But now it's poor and it's porous.
Yeah, it's not looking good whatsoever. The ultimates to come back in. Sure, they used the Nightfall, but there's plenty more at their side.
Okay.
We look towards mid as there's a couple players here to try and brawl it out. Koala holds on to B main with his
एक्चुअल
operator.
में केसी लेकिन कितना बाप खेल रहा है
First real time that you've seen that op come
वो
in
लोग का
play as
अटैक
well.
देखो बे
The desk talking about it in detail,
आराम
how
आराम से
Navi's
इसको लेके
macro
थोड़ा
is
थोड़ा
built around
स्पेस लेके
this.
थोड़ा थोड़ा स्पेस
A
लेके
consistent factor in that game against BBL
मस्ते
yesterday.
बे
Felt
वो
like
लोग
they
का
had the
अटैक
right read a lot of times when they were trying to scout it out, but not able to deal and contain that threat fully. Already looking at both Prowlers being invested in mid here. Angels just keeping half an eye on it.
Remember, Ruxic still to make his introduction here as well, so this has been really good. Baiting out by
Ayo.
Angel, and Ruxic's able to get 2, but Casey,
दो
2
मारे
back
थे
in the
यार.
conversation. It's even after that engagement.
They have the tower control here as well, which they have so frequently enjoyed.
Shao,
ये
he's
angle
in
मेरे
a
को नहीं
one-on-done-
पसंद, पता है?
one-and-done
One
angle.
tap
He
वाला
can't really
angle है.
escape from there.
सीधा जब भी मैं यहाँ से पिक
Closed
करता
it
हूँ ना
off. Sadak looking to
एक को
use
one-tap
his
मारता हूँ.
utility through this smoke, play around with the timing, shooting the haunt mid-air is Shao, but still finding the kills. Koala has the ult if he needs it. Just to get that first round on the board, you might as well pull the trigger now.
Uh-oh.
He's also buying time for Hero to get into position as well.
But Hero doesn't want to go too quickly because he's worried that Sadak might have repositioned. Still 10 toes down on the
अगर
B
मिस
side.
किया उसने
And as the showstopper goes off, he knows where Koala is. If he can find this kill, then maybe there was a chance.
अगर
But
मिस
there you
करता
have
वो
it. Navi clapping back eventually, double digits, but it took a while.
Yeah, that's the
अगर मिस
exact point I
करता.
was coming in with. The fact that it had taken
Possible तो
7
था बे.
rounds to find that round as well. I mean, the benefit from that
बस
last
मारा,
round is that
उसने
KC were
दूसरा.
able to get the showstopper. The bad thing is, they chose their own.
Sure, Koala noob. And again, you're just expecting him to be involved as much as possible
Hero
on
निकाल लेता?
these rounds when he has the op.
कौला ने निकाला बस है.
Through mid, he'll go this time. Smoke place market side, but
इस
he's
बार
the first
प्लान भी नहीं है.
responder to the
अभी
ramp
ऐसा है कि वो
play.
लोग यही जाएंगे.
For
अभी
the
प्लान
most
भी
part,
नहीं है
Navi
उनके
were
पास.
happy to lean heavier towards other places in the map. So now the players start to rotate in. KC had a free sight, they don't anymore.
भाई कौला ने
Oh,
को क्या
not yet tricked in
मारा.
that position. They know
Save.
it's the flood out
Save.
from main. KC get themselves
Save.
on site. Without Koala Noob, his trusty op, the support of player presence. It's KC that take this fight early.
हाँ? चलो मैं चटक रहा हूँ मैं. Good night. Good night.
Towards
Bye.
CT, the ultimates now starting to come through, the first of which is the Steel Garden. Ruxic trying to use his own ultimate, and there's a pocket to work with. And behind the Cosmic Divide, KC aware of this, trying to respond. Martin and the rest of the players fall at the same
सब
time.
कैसे?
It's still not found.
Oh,
Finally he is.
shoot.
And Navi,
तो
after
चलिए
getting the
मुझे.
first very quickly, double up.
क्या?
It's so important that they do as well. Because you're looking at the money on a few of these players. Ruxic, Hero, Shao, all below 200 credits. I don't think there was any world where KC were going to get caught off guard fully by that Cosmic Divide TP play. You remember back to kickoff last year, they were the ones that pioneered it with the Yoru, but it's the fact that there is no return there.
You see that? There's no way they're going to get caught off guard, but they do in another sense. They put so much investment into trying to deal with it that Navi are able to get the value.
It's like a distraction.
Look,
it's your favorite set retake over here in backside, and then the rest of Navi
light armor mein
have a different kind of approach. The next round just as important as the last, and that can be said for KC. Most importantly, Stinger in the hands of Martin, the rest have the guns they would like. Sadak the ult, 5 players through the mouth of main.
Outcome. Koala's op has been notified, and well, Shao found out as
always
well.
good for one.
Oh, out of nowhere, out of heaven! An elbow drop onto the head of Carmine Court. And Ruxick's still able to survive, and he has support as well. Navi are looking to send this towards 12, and they'll get it.
Vishal bhai.
They all come up at the exact right time. I mean, it was
10,000 super chat, बाकी का GPay.
And it's all Navi.
But it's like the same storyline that happened on Icebox.
Absolutely. The question now will be, can they close it on not completely favourable terms? KC still have money left in the bank. They've got a timeout from which to work. But that was precious ult invested.
मैं तो बोलते इसके बाद एक और टाइम आउट लो टाइम पास
collected, but then Navi with the rest of the player numbers and
क्या challenge है 21,000
the double kill, reinforcing the backside space with his smoke as well to his left hand side.
Bro मेरा पीट गया bro.
Enabling everyone else around him, as both smokes are the stars on the Navi side.
You see this easily going to overtime as well. I don't think Navi are completely out of the woods just yet. I mean, you look at the money as well, it's still not amazing on the defense. As for the attack, and we'll have found most of the success,
गाड़ी हटा दी तो एकदम गुस्से वाले लग रहा है, ऐसा लग रहा है कि अभी गुस्सा कर दोगे, मैं कभी नहीं करता गुस्सा. I'm a good boy.
The point that I raised much
aura
earlier,
lag raha hai mera aura.
I suppose it was almost invalidated with that streak of success from KC, but some underlying issues starting to pop up in these rounds that matter most, when you felt like the teams were on even terms, that swing in their direction has been met with an equal response.
Aura lag raha hai, love
so here we have it, KC to hang on and not head towards Ascent. Koala
needs to be careful of shops.
Complete confidence in taking this space right now.
As
you've highlighted, KC hanging on, just waiting with bated breath for him to peek in. And as he goes round the corner, it fires back. Aves to get the once over. His opposite number. And you look back to the streak of rounds that KC won, they always had that first pick.
He did. Ruxick though, he's trying to be a bit too aggressive for my liking. Invest in the paranoia so he can get out and calling for support and Angel.
Waste ho gaya mid mein.
You look at Hero in the meantime, completely detached from all of this on A.
Navi.
Right there. Elite is going to be walking on up behind his own wall at a moment's notice, or
bro, don't tell me look 3 seconds mein BFK karke hi jayenge bro.
It looks like KC want in with the dimensional drift which they've just brought up through the ult point.
I like that though, you know, you go and clear out, but I don't think Shao's been found out there, and he finds himself in the smoke close to players. Angel found out. That main fight's going to be a big one. Shao gets to Getsu.
Oh, and there's more to be had. Time is low and it's all on Shao. If he can hold this side of the map, then maybe it's enough for Hero to come in and save the day again. Already taking on that responsibility. He finds the first and freezes.
Waits for his teammate to come in and support. No utility on either. Shao's star won't come back up on time.
I don't think Casey fully realised where exactly Shao has gone off to. Hero with the flash to just lay this back up. Does get destroyed, and the drop-in not yet here. As he's finally spotted, Hero responds, and this might just be how the second map ends. It's all on Martin between KC and the
जीत
decider.
गया
The
Martin.
first kill is his.
Dance
The
करेगा
TP
Martin.
across and the time on his side. Shao has to stick it half. Martin knows it
W.
and nails
W.
the shot.
W.
A Red Bull clutch.
बाप खेला
10
Martin ने.
taken.
बाप खेला.
KC still alive.
लेकिन मेरे को लग रहा है
Can't
कि वो लोग
believe
को
we
लगा
managed to
कि
get into a
प्लान
position
डिफॉल्ट है
where
करके.
it is
अगर
winnable
डिफॉल्ट
for Navi.
वो लोग को
Martin,
मालूम
again,
पड़ता
we
कि
speak
डिफॉल्ट
about
प्लान नहीं है,
X
अंडरग्राउंड प्लान
factor.
है, तो
That's a
गिरता
player
नहीं
you can
है
depend
heaven से.
upon when it's
वो वापस
needed.
ऊपर जाता है और उसको फिर एल्बो से
Again,
ये
I
साइड पे आना
highlighted
था.
it just before we went through this round.
ना?
And Navi's bio didn't look great into the next round because of the money that they have, and that's exactly the case. Both teams are stricken for options here. A big swing round and deciding if this map is done or we go
डेडो आज
overtime.
या नहीं नहीं रे.
It's the
मेरे
biggest
last
round in
match
this
है
series
mostly.
so far. And it's Shao again, who needs to keep his composure. One kill might not be enough, especially due to the fact there isn't players on site this time. Playing from tower, they'll keep the space at the very least, but
Well, his nades have been pretty good in past though.
yeah, I think he needs an extra layer of support to find this kill. Instead, it just buys time. Navi have made that rotation happen.
Yeah, that Nightfall still up and available
Boombot
for
ने धोखा
Angel.
दिया.
This retake could be pretty good for
बूमबर्ड
Navi.
ने धोखा दिया, ये चेक नहीं होने वाला है.
Alves hearing footsteps in the halls above the Nightfall. Not going to catch him. Still not spotted. Sadak at a top draw. Here's Alves on to the next. KC coming up clutch in the rounds that they need. The absolute most. Regulation to the limits of it. We will
कैसे अर्जुन
go.
भाई?
24 rounds on the table. And KC still not keeling.
अर्जुन भाई कल पता चलेगा.
They're going to have to throw the kitchen sink at this round. They have absolutely nothing in terms of their buy. It was a big swing round and it swung defiantly in KC's favour.
कैसी जीतेगा ये राउंड? ये राउंड कैसी
ultimates,
जीतेगा? कैसी
I mean,
जीतेगा ये राउंड? कैसी
You know,
जीतेगा? Come on.
you look at it,
ये
depending on
राउंड
the way
कैसी
that some of
जीतेगा?
these kills
कैसी
go,
कैसी
or
कैसी
ultimate
कैसी
orbs,
कैसी
that could be
जीतेगा
a
ये राउंड? कैसी
defining
जीतेगा?
factor.
कैसी जीतेगा? कैसी जीतेगा?
Feels like a very
कैसी जीतेगा ये
straightforward
राउंड?
round from KC.
कैसी जीता? कैसी जीता?
In their 11th hour on
Why
split
man
to send us
execute?
to a
वो लोग
second
रुका भी नहीं सकते.
successive overtime in the
Either W
elimination
bench.
series. They head into the
जीत गया.
double stack of utility
जीत गया.
set up.
W
Alice
round
has
baby
the ult.
KC.
But at the
W
best of
round.
times, he's been unable to land it. Shao from the corner, finally spotted, still not taken down. And while Alice gets one in the meantime, Shao still walking away with one, and Koala gets his but can't get out. Spike still not down.
The reposition.
And Ruxic right behind them. Oh my lord, he's only going to get one for now.
The players trying to escape up ramp, they're not going to get a chance.
It's a 2-on-2, and Ruxic has taken it to their advantage. Navi!
क्या बात
And so with that,
है?
there is more to be played.
I thought we were heading to overtime, I'll be completely honest. KC swing a punch.
विशाल भाई. विशाल भाई. हाँ? हो जाए. मैं तो बोलता हूँ जीपे भी नहीं चाहिए. सीधा सुपर चैट और गिफ्टेड. तेल लगाना गया जीपे. हाँ? हो जाए विशाल भाई. टैग करके ओपी करना. टैग करके. समझ रहे हो? विशाल भाई को टैग करके ओपी करना. टैग मैंने टैग करके ओपी करना. मैं पट से गया, चाय लेके आया, तब तक करो ओपी करो. मैं चाय लेके आया. एक और मैप एंड फिर आई थिंक वी एंड द स्ट्रीम. आई डोंट थिंक कि हम लोग एक और पूरा वो कर सकते हैं. थर्ड मैप का ओके डील बोला था. ठीक है, डांस नहीं है ना. थर्ड मैप का डील है अपना, उसमें डांस नहीं है ना. या फिर वो 21 का 30 होएगा या फिर 0 होएगा. बराबर है ना? बराबर ना? या फिर 30 होएगा फिर 0 होएगा ना. नेक्स्ट मैप मैं हूँ केसी की तरफ से. मेरे हिसाब से थर्ड मैप केसी जीतेगा. डांस नहीं है अभी. डांस नहीं है. ठीक है. चलो 30,000 का डील है अभी. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट मैच 30,000 बोल रहा हूँ. वो जीतेगा. मैंने केसी बोल दिया. नहीं फिर कैंसिल ना. मैं भी केसी की तरफ से ना. फिर कैंसिल. ना ना मैं भी गई थी लोगों में चाय गरम
A fantastic response from Navi on split means we will be seeing a map 3 in this elimination match. I'm your hosting Suna, back here with Mini and Hypok once again. Bit of a fake comeback. We don't like those fake comebacks, do we?
I mean, it felt like a real comeback to start things off, but yeah, it's fizzled out a little bit at the end, but who the hell was that on Navi? Like, who were those guys?
Do you mean
who
that
were those
one?
guys?
The one in the middle? Yeah.
Yeah, both teams just defense to me. It was just like this whole series has been a series of just poor defenses and not finding any footing in there at all. But Navi realizing at the end that their comp is supposed to be a little bit more defense-sided and just taking it over.
I do want to say that this is such a KC way of having a fake comeback, because this could have been a real comeback. This could have been a 2-0 KC, which is a sentence I've said about 50 times since I've been in EMEA. If it weren't for some of the shenanigans we saw in round 20, round 19 as well, Hypok, it's just it's the same thing we spoke about in the pre-show. They haven't learned.
Yeah, but if you talk about the Cosmic Divide.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see it.
Yeah,
we're going to see it.
There's just a couple that's, and it's not even as if somebody's overheating or it's like there's scenarios like this time and time again where KC come out on top, but then you look at this and there's almost like a split decision here because somebody's getting shot in the back trying to hard clear this Cosmic Divide. Martin's jumping through again, trying to spray with a rifle. Got away with one of those today already, but it's just one of those where it's like, these are the sort of situations we're talking about where if these are kind of like micro calls on the fly, reactionary to things going down, Sadak should be in control of those. So that's the sort of thing that actually the pre-show we're tapping into. Sadak shouldn't be miscalling sort of some of these situations. So you've got to ask questions about why these things pan out the way they do.
Yeah, and the irony there completely is that that's a play that KC should be used to because they invented that on the attack where they used the Cosmic Divide to get the Euro in. And in that moment, it just felt like there's just so much there must have been so much chaos in the comms. They didn't have kind of a mature reaction to what was happening, didn't have a protocol for it, and just kind of melted a little bit, it felt like.
Nobody was on the same page there. They're going to be kicking themselves when they watch that back. Now, you guys asked about who was on Navi. Shao was on Navi. Shao's been on Navi this whole time.
Wow.
And he's come alive.
Wow, has he? That feels like that's one of the best map performances from Shao we've seen in like 18 months. Like it was just absolutely phenomenal from him. Again, situations where you are kind of synonymous when you think back to when Shao and Sugetsu played alongside each other. These are the sort of rounds you expect from either one of them. But here he had like 6 or 7 of those rounds.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Like, I think we just got the analyst desk curse, so we need to just choose.
He was listening. They were in the ready rooms listening.
We need to choose another player.
All right, who do you think?
I think we got Shao again. Let's get another
Double
one.
Shao?
Yeah. Because Mike said it's the first map in what, like, you know, a year almost where let's go for 2.
All right, back-to-back Shao. I mean, once upon a time, that was a bog-standard day in the
Yeah,
office for Shao.
exactly.
He did this every single match. We
Well,
saw him
do
play.
we tap into some of the ancient Shao magic on Ascent for the decider?
Yeah, we
Bust
will.
the fade out?
Okay, we're going to do it in a
Good old
moment.
days.
No spoilers. We're going to do it in a moment because we gassed up Hero since the day he joined Navi. And we're going to continue to do this because, again, very, very consistent. Again, not sure why Mini decided not to keep him on
Yeah,
Fnatic. Weird decision.
You look like an idiot now.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
chat.
actually kind of weird that didn't happen. But let's take a look at some of the
Wait,
heroic
chat, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
clutches that we saw. And we complain about
भाई एनर्जी की माँ खुद गई है भाई, समझ रहे हो? 8 बजे से जगाओ, काम कर रहा हूँ, एनर्जी की माँ, कसम से बोल रहा हूँ. रेस्ट लेके सीधा पैसिफिक आओ. हाँ, एकदम ही एनएच के लग रहा है, वरना मैं नहीं बोलता था. एकदम मतलब एकदम एनएच के लग रहा है. मारू कल्टी मारू. डन है, डन है, ठीक है. विशाल भाई सेड ओके विद नावी. बाद में कंटिन्यू करते हैं विशाल भाई, ठीक है. मेरे पर्ची पे लिख दो 21 के पेंडिंग करके, बाद में कंटिन्यू करते हैं क्योंकि एकदम ही मतलब एकदम ही नहीं हो रहा है वैसा वाला सीन है. क्योंकि आज का जो शूट था ना, बहुत इंसेन था वो, समझ रहे हो? और क्योंकि आउटडोर था तो टायरिंग था वो, प्लस ट्रैवल करने का था मेरे को आधा घंटा, तो थोड़ा उसके वजह से एनर्जी डाउन है. हाँ, यू मिस आवर फेवरेट टीम्स PRX विक्ट्री. नहीं, मैंने टीवी पे देखा, बहुत बड़ी टीवी पे देखा. वो कहाँ पे देखा वो तुम लोगों को कल या परसों पता चलेगा, लेकिन मैं बहुत ही बड़ी टीवी पे देखा, मिस नहीं किया मैंने. ठीक है, आज एक दिन मेरे को माफ कर देना, मैं JNL कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है, कल मिलते हैं फुल एनर्जी के साथ. ठीक है, रियली 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 सॉरी, बट आई जेन्युइनली नीड सम स्लीप. एंड मिलते हैं. मेरे को ये भी मालूम है कि मैं वापस रात को उठ जाऊंगा 3-4 बजे, समझ रहे हो? शेड्यूल भी लग गए मेरे, बट देखते हैं. अगर मैं ऐसा कुछ हो गया कि मैं 2 बजे उठ गया या फिर ऐसा कुछ हो गया ना कि मैं उठ ही गया पैंचो, तो मेंबर्स ओनली वैलो या फिर ऐसा कुछ कर लेंगे. ठीक है, अंटिल आई स्लीप बैक. ठीक है, लेकिन अभी कल्टी मारते हैं. मैप 3 मेन चैनल पे देख लो, मैं भी देखते देखते सो जाऊंगा. ठीक है, मिलते गाइस, बाय बाय. थैंक यू एंड आई एम रियली 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 जेन्युइनली सॉरी. मिलते हैं, बाय 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 बाय. आदियोस चड्डी में पादियोस. मिलते हैं, ठीक है? नहीं मत करना, सो जाओ. ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. बाय गाइस, टुमारो फुल एनर्जी. ठीक है, बाय, लव यू. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. बाय 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 बाय. आदियोस चड्डी में पादियोस. टेक केयर, सी या मिलते हैं कल पैसिफिक पे. ठीक है, बाय.
I find you a star, and we could be in love, lighting up the dark. But there's nothing I can do, I can never get to you. So I'm looking for a miracle, like if somebody be so beautiful, yeah. It's only a dream, it's how I feel. You deserve better.